It's the Odd Drunk Podcast, a very strange podcast, the drunkest show in the world. It's Jackson and Colton talking out of their ass. We don't care as long as drinks are poured. Sometimes we have our friends here. We will talk about anything. We don't care as long as we have beer. And if you let that whiskey ring. The Odd Drunk Podcast.
Welcome back to the Odd Drunk Podcast with your hosts, Jackson and Colton. It's time to do a podcast. Did I scare you there, Colton?
Oh, shit.
I want you to keep that silence, that awkward tension that we had, that I hopefully broke. Probably going to be a bit awkward coming back from our break.
Yes.
And
it's it's going to be a very loosey-goosey episode.
Definitely. Yeah, we're going to be retreading some ground, but we're going to talk about the Golden Globe winners, the Academy Award nominees, our favorite movies and games, and our most anticipated movies of the year, games, etc. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty loose episode. We promise we'll get into some actual topics and interesting stuff coming up. But, you know what? Starting us out again, let's just have some fun, right?
Right.
Just like the early days of the podcast. Actually, yeah, like the early days of the podcast. Or that weird period we were in. Are we still in that? We'll have to see what kind of vibe 2024 gives off in these next coming episodes.
We're like artists, where instead of having a blue period, we have kind of a weird vibe period. We have a period
in our awkward period
has a lot of commentary.
Right, yeah.
That was a period.
That's a lazy one. Well, and just recording on Zoom, no matter how you do it, and no matter how many times you do it, it's just not the same.
We're getting
I know
used to it.
And it's not like that I'm sad about it anymore, like no offense. Like I'm happy with my life, and I hope you are too.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, of course it's better recording in person, actually hanging out with your friend, but Zoom is just inherently awkward though.
Yeah, it can.
It just is, because you have that disconnect. You're not in a room together. You're at any moment somebody could pull their dick out.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've got my dick out.
I don't know if Colton's wearing pants. I don't see his lower half. He doesn't see my lower half. Surely.
I am going to say not
but
promise that I am wearing pants.
I can't make any promises. I may be wearing socks.
I'm not wearing socks. I have slippers on, but no socks.
I have slip-ons, Van slip-ons. I bought myself. This is kind of one of my New Year's traditions now.
Yeah.
The beginning of every year, I always buy myself a new pair of shoes.
Nice.
It just feels right, because by the end of the year, I always, worn out a couple pair.
Yeah.
Not so well. Coming up, I'm gonna have to get more formal wear.
I was about to say, without going into detail on
without going into detail
with work stuff. I also bought a new pair of shoes, but it was for work.
Oh yeah. But no, I bought myself a pair of Van slip-ons. Just easy. They're black on black checkerboard, and I love them.
Classic.
They're like my favorite shoes now.
It's like the best. That's the best Vans pattern.
Right. Yeah. The checkerboard.
The checkerboard.
Classic. Yeah. But Zoom, inherently awkward. A lot of mishaps can happen, especially, I remember all the Zoom classes and stuff. 2020, the before times. Well, the dark times, I guess. I guess the before times would be pre-2020. Or would it be pre-2001? Or would it be 1945.
It's
I don't know.
because the
Whatever year you
World
want to.
War II traces its origins back to World War One, which those alliances
So
and all that sort of stuff really has its origins back to the Napoleonic Wars, which really
so
have their
pre-Napoleon.
origins back to like the 7 Years' War. So
So pre the 7 Years
pre
War.
the 7 Years'
Would
War,
that be the before times and everything went to shit after?
that's the before times, yes. Because
Basically,
everything
pre-colonialism.
everything going to
That's the
shit
real before
afterwards
times.
includes the founding of the United States.
That's when things went to
If it
went to
weren't for
hell.
the if it weren't for the founding fathers, me and Jackson would have cool British accents, which would
Right, or at least an Irish
automatically make us
accent.
better podcasters.
Right, right.
So there.
This has gone
Thanks.
off on a weird tangent already.
Thanks, Thomas
No, but I wanted
Jefferson.
to talk about Zoom a little bit. I've been watching some like Zoom compilations, like uh awkward Zoom meetings, and have you seen the one where the guy just he pulls out the lotion and napkins in the middle of a business meeting?
No.
Unbeknownst to him, he thinks they can't see him, that his screen's turned off, and everyone tells him to stop, and he just proceeds to, uh,
Has it on mute.
yeah. I saw that one, and it's all old stuff from like 2020 or 2021 when, yeah, not that Zoom isn't prevalent anymore. Businesses, schools, they use it all the time still, but
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it was just when people didn't know how it worked, and there's the one of the attorney had the cat filter on during a court session.
I've seen
And
that one, yeah.
yeah, that one's pretty good. Uh and then there's this YouTuber, he's kind of a creep. He does like these weird Omegle pranks. Um Hyphonics, I think his name is. Um
Mhm.
but yeah, just started watching that stuff. But I love the Zoom video. I think it's man carrying thing. He did some Zoom videos where you're the first student to join class and stuff like that, and like the awkwardness between you and your professor. Just good stuff.
Yeah.
Cringe, you know. Uh,
But there's good stuff about Zoom. You can more easily get away with drinking.
yes,
I
you
did
can do
that
a
all the
you can do a
time
podcast.
when I was in school still. And even when we had to have the camera on, it's pretty easy just to have a drink right off to the side of the camera. Um,
Right.
or when there's so many students in the class that all the little pictures are so small that
Oh, you can
nobody
just
really notices when you
no one
pull a beer
cares.
into frame and start drinking it.
Right.
But
Well, I always
all
hate
the
it.
time I would just like lean off to the camera. Just
I remember the people making dinner while they're zooming, or people just straight up driving
yeah,
during
that was
class,
fun.
do it
Yeah.
running errands. Um anyways,
Yeah, there was good stuff
uh
about Zoom. Yeah.
yeah, there's some good stuff. Um anyways, what are you drinking tonight, Colton?
The age-old question. I've got two
Yeah,
things.
one of our segments.
I got a little glass of wine. It's a Spanish wine. Let's see. I took a picture of the label. I don't have the bottle with me right now. It's in the other room. What's it called? No, I don't want to turn on backup. No, fuck off. Okay. Uh, Can Blau. Canblau. It's a Spanish red blend. And it's pretty tasty.
Hmm.
Um, I got it the other night. I went to the liquor store that I work at sometimes and picked up a bottle there. I tried it because they let me we do tastings there sometimes. And I paired it the other night with a Torrente al Pesto, which is like a have you seen Luca, the movie?
I I've s- seen parts of it. Two
It's
boys and a mermaid in Italy or something.
it's the pasta dish they drink in that, or not drink, they eat in that movie. It's a but
Well,
it's good.
because traditionally, uh, Italians drink the sauce before they eat the pasta, right?
Yeah, it's Americans are known for
No offense to any
smothering
of
their
the Italian
spaghetti
listeners.
in red sauce, compared to Italians go lighter, but it's not because the Italians don't have the sauce. It's because they put the rest
They've
of the
already,
cup off to the side and they just
yeah. I do prefer medium, light to medium sauce to noodle ratio, actually. I don't like it
yeah,
drowned in sauce.
yeah.
I like it to be light and fragrant,
Sometimes I go
inviting.
like it can be really nice if you want something light. Do like pasta, maybe use like a whole grain pasta or something like that. And instead of making a full red sauce, use like stewed tomatoes in the dish.
Oh
So you
yeah.
get that tomatoey in there, but then like use some olive oil and basil and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. So it's not really a sauce, but still you still get that
Parsley.
tomatoiness. Yeah, it's good. But I got this
Been
red wine. I've
watching.
also got a little bit of bourbon. Some Old Forester, I think it is.
All right. I've got one of my favorites, Bumbu rum.
Ah, classic.
Yeah, and I bought it at a convenience store, and I had to show the guy where it was. He didn't know what Bumbu rum was.
Of course not.
Like what a noob. I mean, yeah, probably 90+% of his customers order get Bacardi or something,
Mm-hmm.
or Captain Morgan.
Yeah.
Um,
Or Admiral Nelson.
oh man, you know, if you're buying Admiral Nelson, I feel bad for you. I feel sorry for you. You're in trouble. Uh, but yeah, it's good stuff. It's a little bit on the sweeter side, but some strong, vanilla notes. They
Yeah.
say it's vanilla forward. That was my nickname in high school, etc.
How old is that joke now?
It's one of our oldest running ones, and we've kind of
Um,
been
I
more
know
ironic.
I know exactly what episode I think that it originates
There's
from.
no way you know the
I
exact
I
episode.
I'm pretty sure it comes from our pie tasting episode. Am I right?
Oh yeah,
We did the
we
pie
did a
tasting
pie tasting episode on a
season
podcast.
1,
Yeah, that was dumb.
November of
It,
2020.
it was an excuse to engorge on pies.
We bought a bunch of pies
Yeah,
and just forced the listeners to sit through an hour and a half of us talking about pie
describing
as
pies.
we ate it, and we kept making that joke throughout the episode.
That might have been its origin, but we also did the beer tasting, the beer ranking.
But that was
May have
after
came
the
from there.
pie. That was after
Was
the
that
pie
after? Oh
episode.
yeah.
Maybe the joke made its first appearance. The other it might have made an appearance in that first Spooktober because I could see us making jokes about pumpkin forward beers.
That feels
Um
that
and
feels
and
right.
and then it was maybe the pie tasting episode where it turned into
I think that's what it made
like
turned into the running joke, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But as soon as you acknowledge, well, that's the thing about like inside jokes. The whole point of inside jokes, they're only funny to the people that are in on it that know it. So I hope like our old listeners are like, oh, he did the forward joke, vanilla forward thing again. But when I'm on it's only funny. Is it funny when when we're trying to be funny with it, or when it comes naturally, or when it's just unenthusiastic, just like how I did it?
Yeah.
You
I
decide.
I mean, I gotta say, so this is before we like get into like the meat of the episode, not that there really is a meat of this episode.
It's
Um,
me too. It's just It's more of a
It's very
venison.
loose.
Eh,
This episode,
not a lot of.
2024, the way we arbitrarily um
Oh, I also forgot to mention.
split up our seasons. This would be season 5,
What?
which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it would be season
It was
5.
season 5.
Or would you count our first season as season 0? Let's like redo
Yeah,
the whole
if
thing.
you counted season that first half year as season 0, then this would be season 4, I guess. But
Okay,
um
4.5.
but
Just round it up.
we've been doing the show for long enough that we have running jokes that have developed and we've lost.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sure there's some we've given up on.
There's
Well, we
definitely
used to do
running
the.
jokes that we don't do anymore.
Well, this whole thing's a running joke if we're gonna be real. Um, I also have some kill lifter here because it's around where I live
Hell yeah.
in the valley in the greater Phoenix metro area. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to get doxxed online. I probably said too much, but Kilt Lifter from Four Peaks is like one of the big popular beers
Oh, it's a
go-tos,
classic.
and rightly so because it is great. And I've been to Four Peaks Brewing, and apparently it's haunted. Didn't seem haunted to me. It just seemed like they had
Nice.
good beer. But the Ghost Adventurers did an episode on it. I would
Oh,
love to have their
nice.
job.
Yeah,
Just,
that sounds like a great
run
job.
around like with night vision cameras screaming in a hotel, you know, uh, just being a nuisance. Um,
I mean,
unironically, those are
we can
hilarious,
just
though.
do that anytime, but
True,
they
I guess.
get permission to do it and get paid to do
Yeah. Well, yeah, permission is important. Anyways, let's get into this. So I kind of want to talk about, well, not kind of. I want to talk about because when we recorded our 2023 recap,
Yeah.
the Golden Globes haven't happened yet.
No, we talked about
And
the nominations.
yeah, we talked about nominations. Now we have the winners.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go through that, and we're also gonna talk about we've already beaten the dead horse of what our favorite video games are,
Yeah.
but we're gonna talk about our anticipated ones. But yeah, Baldur's Gate. Okay, yes.
Yeah. If you're
Baldur's
new to
Gate.
this podcast, get used to it. We talk about video games a lot.
We also talk about movies a lot, but we're not a movie podcast. We are when we get lazy because movies are easy when you're lazy.
We try not to be a video game and movie podcast,
But we
it's
do all kinds of
so
things
easy
here.
just to talk about.
It is easy.
But check out
Anyways,
some of
Golden
our weirder
Globe.
episodes.
So the Golden Globe winners, and then we'll talk about the Oscar nominees and Critics' Choice winners as well.
Yeah.
So for Best Director, it went to Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer.
Of course.
Kind of no surprise there.
Yeah.
But it could have easily gone to Scorsese. And honestly, I think Greta Gerwig, she was a nominee as well, and I think
I mean, yeah, she did
strong
a
runner-up.
remarkable job with Barbie.
Barbie. And then
I think the remarkable thing about Barbie was not only the box office success and the message it sends and everything, but I think when I heard they had announced Barbie was going to be a movie, I was like, what movie are they going to make? Like, what is this? Seems like a extremely open-ended kind of like nothing concept as far as like to make a movie for. But
well, they ended up
but they made something good.
I consider it just not uplifting, but
It's got a good message and all that.
I look at Barbie like a leveled up comedy. What's the word? I can't think of words right now, which is not good when you're doing the podcast. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. it was a fun movie.
Yeah. But Oppenheimer, though, that's no surprise.
Have you seen
Christopher
Oppenheimer
Nolan.
yet?
I haven't seen it yet, but
Definitely recommend it. I saw an IMAX the way it was intended.
uh,
Have you seen those memes where it was like just how Christopher Nolan intended is watching Oppenheimer on a phone or watching it on a Game Boy? Whatever.
on a T85 graphing calculator. Let's make it a
And
thing
then,
now.
anyways,
You know how people do the meme
yeah,
of
it's warm in here.
can it run Doom? We
Can it
need to
run?
can did Christopher Nolan intend for you to watch Oppenheimer this way?
Right. Um, and then best animated picture, which I definitely want to see this because all of his work is amazing. From Hayao Miyazaki, The Boy and the Heron.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't think there's one Studio Ghibli film that I've disliked, like at all.
Yeah.
Uh, all great stuff.
I've
But it went up against,
not seen enough of them, but
and for the American dub, had a cast with Christian Bale, Dave Bautista, Gemma Chan, Willem Dafoe, Mark Hamill, Robert Pattinson, just to name a few.
well,
Uh,
have you heard a bit of the story? So Robert Pattinson plays the Heron in it,
yeah, he's the Heron.
and apparently the American, I don't know, the American company or the branch of the company or whatever that was handling the American dub. Their idea for the Heron was supposed to be Danny DeVito.
Really?
That was they immediately were like, this is Danny DeVito. But the Studio Ghibli over in Japan, they were like, no, we want the American cast to somewhat kind of match the Japanese cast. And the
Right.
Japanese actor was like this younger, good looking like actor, popular actor. So they had to kind of roll with that. And Robert Pattinson apparently showed up to the studio to audition with pre-recorded voice lines, being like, I've thought about the character. This is what I want to do.
Really?
Like he was all in, like he wanted this,
I like that.
which is
Oh,
cool.
Florence
I think
Pugh's
that's
also in it.
cool.
So yeah, it's a star-studded voice cast. I definitely plan on checking that out.
Hmm.
I've not seen it, so I can't speak too much on it, but I'm sure it's great work. I mean, Studio Ghibli always nails it.
Yeah.
But among those, Elemental was nominated,
Hmm.
Across the Spider-Verse, which that's a bit of an upset because Into the Spider-Verse won its Academy Award. And
Yeah.
then Super Mario movie, Suzumi and Wish. Wish, it's so funny. Wish was just nominated because Disney had the money, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's one of those I think we talked about this on like Morning Oddities or something like that where we were looking at the nominees and we're like, let's play a game, guess who bought their way into the nomination.
Right. And then Super Mario Brothers,
I mean,
well, they
it was
had
good.
to.
Yeah.
Well, and it was the highest grossing picture until Barbie, regardless of animation. So
Yeah.
I feel like they just kind of had to
And
there.
it was good. It wasn't like
And it is well animated.
I don't think it deserves to win,
Elemental, I
but
think, and that so Elemental's also nominated in the Academy Awards.
mhm.
I think the only reason that one's nominated, and that's Disney Pixar, so I guess that's one of Disney's only nominations, but Elemental just because of the animation, right? That's the only reason it's nominated.
Yeah,
As far as I heard, that the story is extremely generic
it's
and
it's decent. I've seen it honestly a few times because my
oh
fiance
really?
really likes it.
I heard
It
that well the animation looks
it is good.
phenomenal. The physics and
What
everything
I'll
and the
say
particles.
is the animation is really well done. It's visually just a very fun movie.
Because you have a water guy and fire girl.
Yeah, it's the story is cute. It's good. Uh, um, It's
But is it
very
like Pixar emotional,
it doesn't
deep?
I mean, it doesn't go I mean, yes, but it doesn't go like heartbreaking deep into
Right.
it. It's
And
just
I think that's
it's a cute love story. It's got people compare it to Zootopia because it's basically like an analogy for racism, which it is, but I think it kind of takes an approach of like
jeez.
the main characters are like immigrants, so it takes like a slightly different approach
Oh,
to that topic. So it makes itself stand out a bit. It's a good movie. I like it. I'd recommend it. Um, is
I'm
it
gonna
is it
switch
better
you over to
than
Memories here.
Across the Spider-Verse? And although I've not seen Boy and the Heron, would it live up to a Studio Ghibli film? No,
I mean, yeah,
but
it
it was
for
good. I
me,
liked it.
of
It's
course, out of all the animated pictures I've seen this year, which is few and far between, Mario Brothers and the Cross Spider-Verse.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, my vote would be Across Spider-Verse, but I can't really say because I haven't seen The Boy and the Heron, I haven't seen Elemental. But
If the Boy and the
like I
Heron is
said, from
anything
what
like
I know
Studio
from
Ghibli's
Studio
other
Ghibli,
films, like yeah.
then yeah, which it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Academy. But so
Yeah.
then Best Motion Picture Drama, the winner, no surprise, was
Yeah.
Oppenheimer. Uh,
Yeah.
but Oppenheimer, I don't know if it's gonna have as much as a clean sweep in the Academy. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
I have a
I
feeling Killers and Flower Moon's gonna get more recognition
mhm.
this time around, but who knows?
The Golden Globes in general, or let's say this way, the Academy in general is a little bit nicer to guys like Scorsese
Yeah,
because and I don't want
he's
to
in
say
with
that
him.
the Academy doesn't know what they're doing or anything like that, but compared to the Golden Globes, the Academy tends to have a little bit more of an air of like tenure,
Oh yeah, the Academy is
if that makes
definitely
sense.
feels
Like,
more political,
yeah,
you
and
know.
it's not that Nolan doesn't have tenure in Hollywood as a accomplished director.
Yeah,
Absolutely, like he's made some amazing films that have gotten recognition, but
well, his first
Scorsese
directorial
though
win.
is
This was his first Christopher Nolan's first motion picture win and directorial win on the Golden Globes,
yeah
and Heath Ledger won Academy Award in Dark Knight, and I think some of those other movies may have won on like cinematography and stuff,
yeah,
but this
but
is his first
Scorsese is like
big win.
out of the guys that are still active in the industry making movies, Scorsese is like as tenured as you can get.
Right.
He's he's the guy. If Francis
Well,
Ford
so is Ridley
Coppola,
Scott, but he's gone crazy.
yeah, if like Francis Ford Coppola was still making movies, then he would be the guy. But now it's Scorsese because
Yeah.
Coppola's. But
I love his takes though. His old boomer takes.
yeah, he's
Because Kill's Flower Moon is like over 3 hours long or something like that.
yeah.
And I've seen some of it, and it's well done, well acted. Leonardo DiCaprio, Lily Gladstone, Robert De Niro,
I need to watch
and
it. I've heard
they
it's
worked
great.
hand in hand with the Osage Nation, the
Yeah,
Osage tribe, and everything to make sure
I've
that they were
heard.
being represented
I
correctly and
like that. That's
everything.
cool.
And Marvel also did the same thing with Echo, which I would definitely recommend that
I
one.
haven't watched it, but
It's like their first gritty graphic um
I've heard some people say
series.
it's one of Disney's best Disney Plus series
Well,
that
it
they.
feels like a Marvel's Netflix show.
Yeah,
I mean, Vincent D'Onofrio's back as Kingpin. I
nice,
mean, Daredevil makes an appearance. It's good stuff. Um, but yeah, they worked with the Choctaw tribe on that,
nice.
which is cool, really cool. But Scorsese, so yeah, his movies are long. This is one of his longest, and I think said something along the lines, "Oh, people will binge 8 hours on a show on Netflix, but they complain they have to sit through 3 hours in movie." And I partially get that, but it's not the
Hmm.
same.
It's not the
It's
same.
not the
I
same.
do get it, but yeah, it's not.
Because in a
I don't know.
show, you get the rise,
Scorsese,
fall, and action and reaction. You get acts 1 through 3 in every episode in a
I mean,
show.
what I'll say about
And
Scorsese is he's one of those guys that like
pacing.
he acts like he's totally like a boomer asshole about like modern movies.
Oh
And
yeah.
he
He
kind of like
is.
in the media kind of makes a fool of himself sometimes.
Because they ask him questions that he's obviously going to be an asshole about.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you think of the MCU? You know, the media always
Like
asks directors, and
mhm.
man, I would hate to be an actor that's been in any MCU joint where they
Where
all they ask you
every
about is
interview
MCU
they
or Star
yeah.
Wars.
Yeah.
Like Adam Driver's so sick of people asking about Kylo Ren. Like he was asked recently in a podcast if he was going to be Kylo Ren again. He was like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Well, and he
Um
died. His character died, but yeah, of course they would be dumb enough to be like
Well, even like actors who have
somehow
played
Ben Solo returned.
like small roles where it's I don't even remember who the actor was, but there was an actor who had like one role in the MCU once, and in an interview someone asked him about his MCU character, and
Oh, jeez.
he was like he had forgotten he had been in the MCU
Right. Yeah.
and was like oh right. Um, no, but Scorsese is one of those guys where like I think he acts pretentious in interviews and stuff like that, but I mean he's got the track record to back himself up though. I mean he's made I think some of the best movies of all time. Um,
I think one of his kind of sleeper hits that I've never heard really anyone talk about, and it's a recent one, Silence
yeah, I've
with
not seen that.
Andrew Garfield, Adam Driver, and Liam Neeson. Not his typical,
Hmm.
returning cast.
That's a good
But
cast.
really good.
Yeah.
It's about Portuguese missionaries traveling to Japan, and I think like in the 1600s, and they get persecuted by the samurai.
Oh wow,
But
that sounds cool.
it's.
I mean, my favorite
I
of
mean,
his
it's
is
somber. It's not like a cheerful
my
movie, but
favorite
it's
of
good.
his is Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New
Um,
York's great. Honestly, my personal favorite,
yeah.
would out of his like more modern era would be The Departed.
Oh, that's a great one too. Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
One of Mark Wahlberg's best roles,
Hmm. Yeah. I
honestly.
mean, yeah,
I mean, even
I
though it's a
definitely
minor
want
role,
to.
but
I need to check out Flowers of the Killer Moon. What I needed to do is I need to just set aside a Saturday sometime soon and just catch up on a few movies.
you know what I say? I would say there's a movie that got completely snubbed in the Golden Globes here. It is winning other awards, and it is nominated Academy, but The Holdovers. I just watched
Oh,
that a couple days ago.
yeah.
Great dramatic comedy film. It's all
Nice.
filmed in, well, it takes place in the 70s, but it's filmed like the 70s. It looks like an old movie.
Oh,
Like
cool.
I don't know if they used it looks like it was on film, like 70 millimeter, and you see the film grain even when you're streaming it and everything. And it's
With
Paul
Paul
Giamatti's a
Giamatti, yeah.
yeah, he's a disgruntled history teacher at
Well,
a boarding.
he won Paul
He won
Giamatti,
Best Actor in the Critics Awards.
yeah, actor in a musical or comedy.
Oh, he's great in it.
Yeah.
He plays a great disgruntled, grumpy history teacher, and the whole
Nice.
point, yeah, an alcoholic one at that. And the whole point of it is that he has to look over the holdovers, the kids that are left on Christmas break at
Right.
this boarding school.
I'll have to check that
And
out.
this is rebellious kid, but he actually is like one of his highest scores in his class, and they form a bond and everything, and it's a good kind of heartfelt dramedy, I would say. I definitely enjoy it. It
Nice.
is not necessarily a Christmas movie, but it leans towards Christmas movie because
Right.
it does take
Yeah.
place during Christmas break and everything. It's not like it's not like how you would say Die Hard's a Christmas movie when it really isn't. It just takes place on Christmas. Like, let's be real. It's kind of between that. It can be a Christmas movie, but you can also watch it outside of Christmas and enjoy it.
Right.
for what it is. Uh, but yeah, I would definitely recommend it. And yeah, he's that old strict. He acts like a college professor at a boarding school, and he's super strict. He almost fails the whole class before break. And then
Yeah.
like when they ask about if they can retake the test, and he was like, "Okay, you can retake the test, but it's going to be a different test covering new material. Uh, so crack those textbooks open." And he's an ancient history professor. I mean, teacher, so that adds more to it.
Nice.
Uh,
I'll have to check that out. That sounds great.
but yeah, it's I would definitely recommend that one. It's on Peacock
Nice.
if you have that. Uh, so next we have for the Golden Globes. So yeah, Oppenheimer won Best Motion Picture Drama, and then I definitely want to check this one out. It beat out The Holdovers and it beat out Barbie. Poor Things for
Oh yeah.
Best Musical or Comedy with Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, Willem Dafoe. I've been hearing really good things about it. I don't really exactly know what it's all about, but I've been hearing good things about it. I heard it's kind of like a Frankenstein retelling or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it has elements of that. Um, but yeah, I've been hearing good things about it. And then best motion picture for non-English language or best foreign picture, I guess, would go to Anatomy of Fall. It's a damn shame Godzilla Minus One came out so late in the year it can't be nominated.
Right.
However, it did get nominated for an Academy Award
Yeah. Yeah.
for best visual effects. And god damn it, it deserves it. For that small of a budget to look like a $200 million
It's
movie on a
it's
$50 million budget.
it's honestly the
It looks better than
I
any other Marvel movie they've done in the
I
last two
think I
years.
think I mentioned on an episode before the so Corridor Crew on YouTube um
Well, they
covered
did their
they
Godzilla
talked
episode, right?
they did a Godzilla episode, talked about that, and they actually got an interview with the director of
Yeah.
Godzilla Minus One, and they talked about the design of Godzilla and some of the special effects process, and it's like the type of thing where the director, actually like stayed at the office late at night working on VFX type of stuff.
Oh yeah, he had.
It's remarkable what they were able to achieve with their
Oh, there's
budget.
some there's still some model work and practical work there
Mhm.
because Toho traditionally has done, the man in the suit.
The Suitmation. Yeah,
Suitmation,
that's
yeah.
what
This is
they
the
like to call it.
first or no, I think it's the second one that they've done with CG Godzilla. I think the
Yes,
last
Shin
one,
Godzilla was the first one
I
that
think
was.
some of the other ones had some CG, but
Yeah,
I think Shin Godzilla still had a model, and so did this one. Like, there's
yeah.
a scene with Godzilla chasing the boat through the ocean. I think that's a model there, but either way, it's there was not one shot in a movie where I was like, "Oh, this is low budget." And honestly, we're gonna get to it pretty soon. It's one of my top movies of the year, like easy. I highly
Yeah,
recommend it.
nice.
Um, anyways, moving on to best original score, ended up going to Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer.
Hmm.
And then a lot of stuff we don't care about. No, but let's go on to the Academy Award nominations
Yeah,
because this is the creme de la creme of awards, no matter how political they are. They just are.
I do want to, before we move on to the you
The
saw
Choice Awards.
the Choice Awards, the one that I want to mention. So I'm Just Ken
It
won,
won, yeah, for best original song, right?
and yeah, and what people kind of what made like the headlines was Ryan Gosling's reaction to it. He refused to
Oh
go on
yeah, I've
stage for
seen that.
it because like people were like, well, that song winning over What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish same movie, kind of defeats like the whole, like is missing the whole point of the movie.
Right?
Like, so I thought that was pretty fun. Don't get me wrong, I'm Just Ken is a great song, but yeah,
I think Peaches should have got it, but it wasn't even nominated, was it?
no, not even no.
Damn, shame.
Jack Black getting
Let's go over
snuffed
to
again.
let's go over to Critics' Choice Awards real quick. The winners. So Best Picture went to Oppenheimer again. No surprise.
Hmm.
I mean, I've seen it only once. It is on streaming now. It's on Peacock, so you can easily watch it now.
I'm gonna watch it on my laptop like Christopher Nolan intended.
But yeah, it's yeah, in a tab,
Yeah,
not even full screen,
in a,
windowed.
in a window tab while I played Doom
Well, you
on the other monitor.
just as Chris Nolan intended, yeah. But yeah, Best Picture Oppenheimer. Best Actor went to Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers. Yeah, he's great in it. I mean,
Nice.
and the supporting actor, I don't know his name. He kind of looks like Andrew Garfield. He's like off-brand Andrew Garfield. No, but he was really good in it too. The student. But yeah, Paul Giamatti won Best Actor. He beat out Cillian Murphy. And then Best Actress went to Emma Stone for Poor Things. Definitely got to check it out. As much as I've been hearing about it. Then Best Supporting Actor, and he also won the Best Supporting Golden Globe, Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer.
Nice.
And yeah, he does great work there.
Finally getting an award for something that's not Marvel.
Well, if he even got a reward for that, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I know
But he has recently stated that like his role as Iron Man is still like some of the best work he's done or will ever do.
he's been trying
Um,
to move away
but he's
from
also
Iron
been
Man.
distancing him. But he's not like bashing his own, he
Yeah.
respects it, but he's
Still-
moving away from it.
Yeah.
Um, he proving that he's a great actor. And then Best Supporting Actress went to Davine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers. She plays,
Nice.
she's the head cook at the school cafeteria. And yeah, she has a really good role in that.
Nice.
Best Young Actor / Actress, Dominic Sessa, The Holdovers. He's the young student in that. Telling you, I'm so glad I finally seen it. I should have watched it a long time ago. Really good movie.
Nice.
Best Acting Ensemble, Oppenheimer. So I guess that's like best cast. Is that what that means?
I guess.
Best Director, Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer. Best Original Screenplay went to Greta Gerwig for Barbie,
Nice.
which I think is deserved because like you said earlier, the Barbie movie could have been anything.
Yeah.
It could have been a shameless cash grab tie-in, product
I
tie-in.
mean, they've made Barbie movies before, and it's like
well, yeah, direct to
Barbie
DVD
the-
ones.
yeah, Barbie the Nutcracker and like
Right.
stuff like that.
Poor
and,
CG. Yeah.
and it's like, so when they announced they're making a Barbie movie, I was kind of like, I don't know what this is going to be. It's very open-ended, but I feel like my faith in studio executives and stuff like that meant I expected it to be something really, really like,
Well, Mattel, obviously played a big part in that. It's
Mhm.
cool seeing Mattel just make fun of themselves.
yeah.
And
They-
apparently their board of directors is actually like 50-50 men and women. And I think their CEO is a woman.
Yeah.
But the way they presented it, just being all men with Will Ferrell and everything.
I do like I do like
I recently saw, do you know Bill Maher?
uh-huh.
He had a horrible take on Barbie. He just did not understand. I don't know how a man that's been in the industry this long doesn't understand satire
Mm-hmm.
because he criticized Barbie for misrepresenting the board of directors and everything, that it's
Oh.
this patriarchal control thing. It's like, yeah, that's the joke. Get in on
Yeah.
the joke.
Yeah, it's they're a weird, the joke is they're a weird like even the building doesn't make sense type of corporation.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
he's been having some bad things
and
lately.
and we didn't talk about it, but the host of the Golden Globes, his Uh, and I'm not even
Well,
remembering his name at the
I didn't
moment.
actually watch.
Yeah, so the host was terrible. Joe Coy or something like that is his name. And he made some very, very distasteful jokes about the Barbie movie.
Really?
The one that went really viral is he goes, Barbie movie and Oppenheimer. He goes, one movie's about is based off of a book that a 400-page book about a great American moment or whatever, and then he goes, and the other movie's based off of a doll with big boobs. That was his
Oh, I
joke.
saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and of course, and it was really funny because the camera's panning to the audience and everyone just looks like they're extremely uncomfortable. They don't want to be there. Um, and people were basically joking that this guy, because he wasn't a super successful comedian before he got the job to host the Golden Globes, so he basically started and ended his career in one night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he made some,
Complete.
and he made
Wow. Made
more
a complete
jokes than
ass of
that were
himself.
pretty distasteful. Yeah, he just made an ass out of himself. Yeah, but where were we? Uh,
Rearranging my list. Um. Anyways, let's go to the Academy Award nominees,
right. Yes.
and then we'll get on with our own stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, for actor in a leading role, the nominees are Bradley Cooper and Maestro. Haven't heard of it. I've
I've
heard of it, but I haven't
I've heard
seen
of
it.
it, not seen it. Yeah.
Uh, Coleman, Domingo, and Rustin. Have not heard of that.
Mhm.
Uh, Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer, and then Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction. I
Okay.
don't know. I'm not sure if Cillian will get it again in the Academy, but we'll see. I
American
mean,
Fiction. I've not seen it yet, but it looks really interesting. Yeah.
and then for actor in supporting role, Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction, Robert De Niro in Killer's Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling in Barbie. Oh, and Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. Also, Barbie got fair. Well, Barbie got kind of snubbed, but in particular, Margot Robbie got snubbed in the Academy
Right.
Award nominations,
Yeah.
and also Greta Gerwig for Best Director.
Hmm.
Uh, so the nominees for actress in a leading role would be Annette Bening in Naiad, Lily Gladstone in Killer's Flower Moon, Sandra Holler and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan in Maestro, and Emma Stone in Poor Things. I have a feeling that's going to go to Lily.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, yeah, she's really good at it, and the fact that she actually is native. I can't remember what tribe she is, but
Yeah.
having real people that represent
That's great. That's
who they're
important.
playing is yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then actress
Instead of
in a
try
support
instead of a bunch of
whitewashing,
executives and white people trying to decide what counts as representation.
right?
Yeah.
And then for actress in a supporting role, it'd be Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer. She's Oppenheimer's wife.
Okay.
Amazing role in that. And what I really like that movie, and also in just any Christopher Nolan movie, he has so many stars in his films, but they're never like so often they're just playing their character. They're not presented as, oh, here's the star. No, here's
Yeah.
Emily Blunt in a supporting role. Like there's so many scenes where she's just in the background as like an extra. And then
Right.
until it's her time to speak, there's no. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. He treats his actors, not like stars.
Yeah, yeah, which I think is good.
Yeah.
Uh, and America Ferrera, yeah, she's nominated for supporting actress in Barbie,
Oh, good. Good.
which I
She's
think
great.
definitely deserves it. And David Noe Randolph also nominated for The Holdovers again. And now here's where it gets interesting because it's a little bit different on this one. Animated feature film. So the nominees are Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, and then Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
So Disney didn't buy their way in with Wish this time.
Well, Elemental,
Yeah,
but
but
that's still
Element,
Pixar. That's
but
Disney Pixar.
but Elemental's like not a bad film. I actually think it's pretty good.
Right, yeah.
I don't think it would
And
win,
then okay,
but it's pretty good.
at the time when we reviewed Across Spider-Verse, we were like, damn, this is like one of the best things ever, movie of the year so far. Still is one of my movies of the year.
Oh yeah, same.
It's not my number one anymore though. It has been surpassed
Yeah.
upon looking back. But I mean, like I said, haven't seen Boy and the Heron. I'm sure it deserves it as much as Across Spider-Verse, but for me, I can't. I mean, I would have to say Across Spider-Verse deserves that because it's the only one I've seen out of all those.
Yeah.
Um, here's what. No, it is a little ghoulish and despicable with how Across Spider-Verse was made. The horrible hours, grueling hours, and like slave labor they put the animators through. Um,
Yeah.
the deadlines and everything. And which is so part two or Beyond the Spider-Verse has been delayed so they can compensate for that and make right some wrongs.
Good.
Uh
Yeah.
so that is a little icky. So it's like, do you really want that to win considering how it was produced?
Yeah.
Um but aside from that, aside from the drama, aside from the behind the scenes, it definitely deserves a nomination.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Great
like
movie.
I've said before, I mean, if you're just going off a pure animation, even it deserves a nomination just for the mere fact, like every frame in that movie is like a painting I could put up on, a poster I could put up on my wall and be proud of.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, definitely deserves it. So then cinematography, which is definitely a very incredibly important award. So it's El Conde, Killers of Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I've only seen a bit of Killers of Flower Moon. It's got good cinematography, but I don't know if it's anything to write home about, to be honest. Oppenheimer, though, I mean, it switches from black and white to color a lot, and then obviously the shot of the atomic bomb and everything is great stuff. And there's a lot of shots that they filmed like lighting up sulfur and magnesium, like because there's no visual CGI in it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of shots where Oppenheimer's like imagining like how the atom's splitting and everything in his mind, and then they represent that with these cool like visual effects, practical
Yeah.
shots. Um, so yeah, I think it deserves it. And then costume design goes to Barbie, Killers of Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I Costume design is kind of funny with the Academy. I it
Yeah.
either goes to period pieces or like something like Barbie. So I'm not really sure where it's gonna go here.
Yeah. I don't know.
Uh, just I don't know if Barbie. I mean, yeah,
Is
throwing
that
Ryan
the only
Gosling and Margot Robbie in neon roller skating outfits and pink and
is that
pink cowboy.
the only award that Napoleon is nominated for?
Yeah,
Is that them throwing Ridley Scott a bone?
yeah.
And like eh, there you go, man.
I've heard that movie's fine
Yeah, I've heard it's okay.
if you suspend your disbelief and don't actually think about historical accuracy or, you know,
Yeah,
uh,
I will in this case stand by what Ridley Scott has said about historical accuracy doesn't need to be a priority when you're making a movie like that. Like
no.
it's whatever. I appreciate historical accuracy, but I think I think people get like these days like to get really up in arms on the internet and very angry about something not being historically accurate. And like, it's not a documentary. Like, like nobody complains about Shakespeare's Julius Caesar not being historically accurate.
Right.
Why do we need to hold Ridley Scott to higher standards than Shakespeare?
And I've also heard
Like,
that it's just, yeah, just a very mid movie.
yeah, I've heard
And
it's
that's,
just okay. Yeah, but
you know, I might watch it if it's like streaming, somewhere. And then directing would go to Justine Triet for Anatomy of Fall, Martin Scorsese, Killers Flower Moon, Christopher Nolan, Yorgos Latimos, I don't know. For Poor Things, sorry if I mispronounce. Come on, we're just two white guys here. We're not gonna pronounce things right, but it's not out of disrespect. Um, and then The Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer. Okay. And then let's talk about the music real quick, actually.
okay, yeah.
So this is its only nomination for good reason. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. John Williams is being nominated once again for original score. Which, yeah, if you
Yeah,
can say anything about the movie, it had a great score because John
yeah.
Williams did it.
Yep, and John Williams is consistently great.
Yeah, and apparently he's not retired anymore. He's still gonna do work.
Yeah.
So even though he's like 100. Um, and then music for original song. So you have The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot. Oh, is it the Hot Cheeto movie?
Oh,
About the guy that made the Hot Cheeto? And
that's
then
a
I'm
really
Just
weird
Kidding.
trend recently. The whole movies about the
You had the Air
origins of a
Jordan movie. You had the
product.
Tetris movie. Product. Not even. Yeah, movies about the making of a product. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a really
Fair
weird.
enough.
Yeah.
Then you have I'm Just Kidding. Uh, then you have It Never Went Away. Not sure what that's from. Then you have Wasazi, Song for My People from Killer's Flower Moon. And What Was I Made For, which is the Billie Eilish one that is for Barbie.
Yeah.
I hope I Just Kid just wins again for the meme,
That would be, yeah.
honestly. And Ryan Gosling has to awkwardly, you know, we get more awkward Gosling, which is always good. He's good at playing awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
A hot guy awkward.
Yeah. An
An
endearing
attractive awkward.
awkward. Yeah.
Endearing awkward, yeah. And then for Best Picture, we have American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. I mean, to be honest, it's more than likely between Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon, if I know anything about the Oscars and like the
Right.
kind of movies they reward. If Barbie gets it, I would love that. I mean, honestly, for that kind of movie.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it's probably gonna be Oppenheimer if we're gonna be real. Production design. Well, and the reason I say it's probably gonna be Oppenheimer, because Oppenheimer is very likely Christopher Nolan's best movie.
Yeah.
From what I've heard about Killers of the Flower Moon, I heard it's great, great casting. Yeah, and it's a somber affair, well done movie. But I don't know if it's Martin Scorsese's best movie. I think he's past that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Uh,
He's
but I haven't seen it, the
I
whole
mean,
thing
Martin
yet. So
Scorsese, some of his older films are pretty high standard.
yeah. Anyways, wait, let's get to visual effects. I want to see who's all nominated for this. So the creator, I've heard, and that's Gareth Edwards from Rogue One and Godzilla 2014.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I heard visually it's stunning, but I heard it's pretty mid
I've heard that
storytelling.
the review I heard was that everything that interesting in that happens in the movie you see in the trailer.
Oh well, that's a shame.
Um,
And then Godzilla minus one, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which yeah, out of all the Marvel movies, that's by far the best looking one. You know, that has real sets,
yeah.
practical effects, and the CGI is good too. Lots of makeup. Yeah, it deserves it. And then Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1,
Wait, Martin
which a lot of stunt work in
Scorsese
there.
directed Shark Tale? What?
Yeah,
I don't know why I didn't know
you're
that.
just now learning this.
I'm just now learning this.
I mean, I forgot that happened, but yeah.
I'm going through Martin Scorsese movies.
No, he's in Shark Tale. He didn't direct it, right?
Oh no, he's just in it, right?
Yeah.
I was about
Well,
to
because
feel-
Shark Tale's Godfather, but sharks.
right.
Will Smith.
Yeah, I was looking there. It popped up under Martin Scorsese films. I'm like, what?
But he is in Shark Tale.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely a movie. That would be, you know, that would definitely be a commentary or review we should do at some point. And
Yes.
then
Yes.
Napoleon. Honestly, honest to God, Godzilla minus one deserves the visual effects win. Just gonna say it again, to do it on that kind of budget, you know,
Mhm.
outdoing $200 million movies that look like shit, you know.
Yeah.
That look like they were just filmed in a box, filmed in a closet, you know. Anyways, let's go to our favorite movies
Yeah.
of 2023, and then we can go on from there. I also do have the
2023
Razzies.
Right. I I didn't admittedly I didn't watch as many movies in 2023 as I probably should have. Um,
You have enough at least for a top five. Have you seen five
maybe,
movies?
maybe.
Um,
I mean the standouts for me were that I saw were Barbie and Across the Spider-Verse. I think I talked about this in the end of the year episode, but the one that was a big surprise to me that stands out was Dungeons and Dragons Among Thieves. I think that movie
I still haven't seen that one.
was a lot of fun. Yeah. Guardians 3 was great. That's 4, right? Yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
I know
Guardians 3 was great.
I know I watched more movies than that.
Well, I'll start. I'm just gonna do my top five because it's really hard to get the ordering or anything and to do a top 10. I do have some honorable mentions. Let me run through my honorable mentions actually.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3, yeah. I don't know if it's the best Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but it's definitely an amazing cap to that trilogy and makes, Guardians of the Galaxy one of the best trilogies in the MCU by I mean, right up there with Captain America. Honestly, you could easily argue it is the best trilogy for a number of reasons.
Yeah. Guardians 3 was great.
So yeah, and it was heartfelt, and like I said, you've got to know these characters and you care about it, and it doesn't look like it was filmed in a closet. Uh, another honorable mention would be Saw X. I'm gonna say it. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. And yeah, it's still a Saw movie. And yeah, it's probably more graphic than any other Saw movie I've seen personally. I've only seen the first. I went on a Saw binge after this, and I think it'd be a great series for us to do a commentary on, by the way.
Yeah.
Saw. But Saw X, it was actually this interesting, cool character arc of Jigsaw with Tobin Bell. And it's just a cool classic kind of revenge story with all the twists that you would expect from a Saw movie and all the brutality plus some. But like the first act of the film, I was just really I went in with negative expectations, not zero expectations. I expected it to be bad,
Yeah.
terrible. And but we are just like, let's go see a movie. And it was at this cool one of the ones where they serve you and everything. Which, yeah, what a great movie to be served food at. Chowing down on a burger when someone's cutting their
Yeah.
leg off
Great
or
idea. Yeah.
drilling a hole in their brain or and yeah, there's really creative kills, well, puzzles, shall I say. There's a lot of moments where he has to just kind of makeshift the puzzle real quick because he's not working with his typical equipment, Uh, so you get some improv there. But Tobin Bell does a great job, and it it even though it's the 10th movie, or I don't even know if it's technically the 10th. I think it might be because they did some spin-offs. They did the Chris Rock one and everything.
uh,
Um,
I heard that
but
was
either
good.
way, I heard that wasn't good, but
Oh.
who knows? But with Saw X, it was just like this cool like look into the character and like I was a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it's boring for a while, but I was like, damn, I was invested in the first act when it's just following uh Jigsaw. I forget his real name, but Tobin Bell, just following him, getting his cancer diagnosis, and him imagining his
Yeah.
traps and his just day-to-day life. Like I thought that was interesting. And then yeah, it got to the gore and everything, and I was like, yeah, it is a Saw movie. Um, but it was a big surprise with me for me. And it as far as like horror movies, oh, there's another one, but yeah, definitely I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
Another one would be Evil Dead Rise.
Right, right.
Really fun, completely captured the energy and the cinematography and the vibes of the original Evil Deads with the shots and like the camera zooming in Sam Raimi style. And Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell were executive producers on this.
Uh-huh.
Um, but in the new setting in the LA, dilapidated LA apartment, uh, great stuff. And it goes crazy. It has some of that sick sense of humor that Evil Dead's always known for, but it's a little bit scarier than the other ones and gorier. Uh, Great stuff. And I thought the actress, the antagonist, I believe her name was I think the actress is Elisa Sutherland. Great job as the demon possessed mom, like the physical acting she put in there and
Yeah.
the voices and the creepiness. Really good job.
I have to
Um,
I have to mention real quick because I'm scrolling through movies and I'm looking at this. Uh I I think there needs to be an honorable mention at the Academy Awards for Nicolas Cage because he was in 6 movies this year.
is that higher than average?
That's a lot of movies.
Well, you know how he was kind of in the Flash, right?
Yeah.
Cameo.
That's
Apparently,
including The Flash, but
he filmed a whole scene for that movie, and all they ended up using was a scan of his face, and he had no fucking idea what was
he
happening.
appeared Nicolas Cage appeared in 6 different movies in 2023. Only one of them was not as a major role.
Flash,
Yeah,
I would assume.
but that's
Nick Cage
it's kind of
is a
impressive.
good
That's
actor.
impressive
He
though. That's a
actually
lot of
is.
movies.
He's been in some damn good movies recently. Uh,
He's been really busy the last couple years.
Mandy, for instance, that
Oh
movie was
yeah.
fucking nuts. I loved it. It was just such a psychedelic, horrible trip, nightmare movie, but it was done well.
Yeah.
I remember when we got blackout drunk while trying to watch that movie.
Oh
We
yeah.
fell asleep before any of the fighting or cool shit happened.
Yeah.
At least I did.
I did too, yeah. That was
We'll have to watch that one. But yeah, Nick Cage, of course. Um, but that's enough with honorable mentions. Well, Super Mario Brothers, kind of. I mean, I had a fun time with it.
yeah, that it was a
Uh,
fun movie. I wouldn't ever call it like, you know,
I had fun
really
with it.
award worthy, but it was good. I'd watch it again.
I
If
don't understand the hate.
if someone was like, "Hey, you wanna have a few beers and watch Super Mario?" I'd sure. Sounds like
It's
a
an
good
hour and
time.
a half. It's a 90-minute
Yeah.
flick. I mean,
Like,
I don't understand the hate for it. I get that if you could be disinterested in it, it's like that's fine. It's obviously it's a children's movie,
uh-huh.
Mario Brothers, so you have to like Mario to like it, but most normal people like Mario to a degree, I would
Yeah.
say. But yeah. Another honorable mention, and damn, this almost squeezed its way. It's really hard for me to make a top five list, honestly. So I'm just gonna talk about my favorite movies. They're not honorable mentions. I'll talk about my top three, I guess, when I get there.
Yeah.
Uh, TMNT Mutant Mayhem, the new Ninja Turtles movie.
Uh-huh.
Loved it. It's a real fun time. Uh, they got actual teenagers to voice the Ninja Turtles, and I love the art style. And yeah, I definitely took, you know, notes from like Spider-Verse and everything, just as Puss in Boots did. But
Mhm.
honestly, I'm glad because Spider-Verse has shown you can actually make something artistically interesting to look at, and it doesn't just have to be what Pixar's been doing for a while. And obviously, it looks like Pixar shifted gears with Elemental, where it's just like their high-end CG. Like it could
Yeah.
be cartoony, but it's also like high fidelity and realistic at the same time, and it's just kind of bland.
Yeah.
Um, but then stripping everything down and blending 2D animation and 3D animation and cell shading and all that. And like the Mutant Mayhem, the whole movie it looks like it was from a Eastman and Lard Ninja Turtles comic book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just really cool stuff. Um,
I will throw out
and I'm a
it
huge Ninja
was
Turtles guy, so obviously it's gonna be
yeah,
pretty
I
hard
will
to
I
go
will
for me.
throw out it's too late, it came out too late to really be included in nominations and stuff. But Wonka is 20 what did come out in 2023.
Well, actually, going by my list I just put up a few minutes before recording, it's my number five.
Yeah. I
In
liked it a
fact,
lot.
it's a toss-up between Wonka and Barbie for me on my list.
Right. Yeah. I thought Wonka was
Uh,
fun. I thought it
I
was
loved it. I
I mean,
mean,
I could talk about it longer, but I think my main takeaway was I expected it to be a soulless nostalgia cash grab, and it wasn't.
and it wasn't.
It had a lot
Yeah.
of heart. It it was
Yeah,
fun.
Timothy Chalamet, yeah, he's not as edgy and unhinged as Gene Wilder, but he's got real
Yeah, and he's not
character. I like
as
his charisma.
and he's not as aggressively uncomfortable as Johnny Depp was.
Right. But
Go
I like
go
his character.
watch the
I like his
Current
charisma. I like his
Garbage on
vibe.
the Johnny Depp Wonka.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can play
they
that good
talk
stuff.
about the
Um,
uncomfortableness of Johnny Depp
yeah.
in that movie.
But no, I enjoyed Timothy Chalamet's, or is it Timothy Chalamet? He said no one pronounces it right. He doesn't bother to correct people. So,
If he's
yeah.
not gonna correct us, then we're gonna pronounce it however we like, Jackson. Uh,
But anyways, Timothy
Mr.
Chalamet, I
Chalamet,
thought
Mr. Chalamet, if you want to reach out to us and correct us, feel free to, and then we will pronounce it correctly.
you and Kylie Jenner are whoever you're
But
dating right now.
until
But
then, it's Timothy.
Timothy, I think that actually is how you pronounce it.
Timothy.
Chalamet.
Yeah.
Calumet. But no, I believed in him. He was earnest, but also had some mischievous there. And I just liked his character, his portrayal, and just as young and excited Wonka, one that's not burnt out by capitalism and by running a business and just wanting to hand it over. Um and
Yeah,
yeah, I thought it was just yeah, it gets corny here and there. I mean, it is a musical, but I thought it was earnest. I thought it was just a fun movie, and it also had, good emotional bits, like pure imagination. It's nostalgic, and it's like
yeah.
in a more emotional version, and it fits with the story. Um, yeah, and I think most of the music is good
It
and
doesn't
catchy,
try
and
too
it's just a
hard
fun ride.
to do the thing where they in like nostalgia bait movies where they have make a big deal about showing the origin of that one thing that you recognize from the original
I mean, it
movie.
kind of does. It does that.
It does it a bit. It has
It shows
the
him,
Oompa
spoiler, it
Loompas.
shows like a time lapse of him building the Gene Wilder
Yeah,
factory,
but
and there's the Oompa Loompa,
like
the
they
Grant
they
who didn't
they
care about it or whatever.
a lot of those moments they just like they don't show the origin of some candy that he has in the original thing. He just
They do
makes
new
can
things.
he just
It has
has
new
it
original
just
ideas in
shows
it.
him making candy. And you can connect the dots on
Well, and he's in a barrio and
how it could connect.
it's fun seeing him as an indentured servant, in a
Yeah.
barrio working at a laundromat.
They
Um,
resisted the temptation to do like to have like a post credit scene with Charlie or or
right,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
tying it in.
They trusted the audience to connect the
Well, they did a good
dots.
job of not stepping on the Gene Wilder version. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it is a little ghoulish how they announced they were doing a new Wonka movie after Gene Wilder passed away because he said he never wanted a prequel or a sequel. Uh, but it doesn't feel like a direct. It's just another Wonka movie that's actually earnest, and I don't know. I think Gene Wilder would actually. I think he would actually maybe like it. I don't know.
I gotta point out that he in the movie he is dressed exactly the same as Gonzo in Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
There's
exact
that vibe.
hold on. Let me
I know
screenshot.
what you're talking about. You can
Yeah.
screenshot it.
Yeah, screen share is not enabled. But anyway, yeah. It's
I know
it's
what you're talking about.
it's down to like the scarf, like the details. It's hilarious.
So yeah, Wonka, I definitely enjoyed it, and it was a surprise for me. I did not go in to expect enjoying it. I
Yeah.
just kind of went because we got movie tickets as a Christmas gift, and my girlfriend was like, "You want to see Wonka? We're gonna see Wonka." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. No, I had not planned on seeing it. That I saw it because me and my partner just had the day off together. It was Martin Luther King Day, so we're off from work. So I was like,
Oh, you bastard!
you want to go see a movie?"
Already missed my first holiday.
And she was like, "Yeah, let's go see Wonka."
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. In fact, so much that and now, yeah, recency biases, I mean, that's kind of hard to eliminate any bias. But actually stacking it against movies, if it's a movie I genuinely, I mean, if you just know when it's a good movie, I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
when you're sitting in the theater, I mean, if you're enjoying it or not. Now, I will also say the more rewatches I give to a movie also contributes to my rating system.
yeah, and
I kind of have a controversial number one pick, but well, I guess it's not too controversial. But number four for me would be Barbie.
mhm.
Um, yeah, that's another one where I didn't have the best expectations. I didn't have bad expectations, but I was just like, oh, that'd be fun. I mean, it
I
looks
mean,
like a
yeah,
fun movie, and
I
it was a
generally
fun movie,
when
and it
just
had real
talking about
commentary.
my
And
favorite movies of the year are it's not I'm not talking about necessarily movies that I thought were objectively the best, but I'm just like these are movies that I genuinely had a good time with. That's why I included
yeah,
the Dungeons and Dragons Among Thieves because that's a movie I kind of like it looked kind of fun, but I heard mixed reviews. I watched it for free on streaming and
Oh, nice.
genuinely was surprised by it. I finished the movie credits roll. I was like, that was a good time. I really liked that. Like, it's not,
It looks like a lot of fun.
should it have been nominated for any awards? No, but it was a lot of
Well,
fun.
there's a movie here that has been snubbed in like every nomination, and it is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on now with my top three, it's interchangeable, really. But my number one stands. Actually, my number one fucking stands.
Yeah.
Three would be Oppenheimer if I don't change my list, but you could switch these around pretty easy. Three would be Oppenheimer. Two would be Godzilla minus one, like I said. Easily my favorite, easily objectively my film of the year. Like just from
Yeah,
a
I was about to say,
critical
I'm surprised
standpoint.
that Godzilla isn't your number one.
Right, because I love I'm the Godzilla guy, yeah.
I still haven't
Um,
seen it, and I really, really need to because it looks
I use this
so good.
podcast excuse to watch Godzilla movies occasionally, like when I say occasionally, like once every few years.
Yeah.
But we are doing Godzilla commentaries. But yeah, Godzilla minus one. I mean, just aside from big, scary atomic lizard, it could have just been an amazing war drama.
Right.
And then you throw Godzilla in it too. So come on. Um, and yeah, I mean, it brings, I mean, it feels like just a spiritual remake of the original, but not just a remake.
Yeah.
It just feels so right. And they are releasing a limited run of Godzilla minus color. It's the black and white version.
Oh, cool.
So if you really want to go old school. And yeah, I mean and it's subbed, not dubbed. And Toho has no intentions of doing a dub version because they don't want to take away from the actors, portrayals, their characters, their performances. And for a subbed movie, and I've only been to an occasional subbed movie in theaters, it did not distract me whatsoever. I was just in it. Also,
Yeah.
I watch a lot of anime and shit. So Japanese, it just makes sense to me, right?
I've watched
But it was done really
enough
well.
subbed stuff that it doesn't distract me one bit.
Right.
I mean,
And
a couple
well,
of
and everyone, we were
some
watching
yeah.
my girlfriend's nephew went with us because he's a big Godzilla fan, and I told him, I was like, this is gonna be one of the serious Godzilla movies. And he was like, I'm fine with that. Still got Godzilla in it. And I'm like, yeah. So
Yeah. I mean,
but
like
we did
there are
have to.
some movies where you can't sub or dub them. It just is weird and stupid. I mean, some of my favorite movies of all time, like probably one of my favorite filmmakers of all time is Kurosawa.
Oh
And
yeah,
imagine watching Rashomon dubbed.
dubs. It'd
It'd
be
be
horrible. It would ruin
weird.
it.
It
Yeah.
would be so weird. Like it just
But yeah, my girlfriend's nephew was there, and I intend on taking him to Godzilla and Kong. And that's what I love about
nice.
the Godzilla franchise. You can have serious dark takes, and then
Yeah.
also just
And then
it's big monsters fighting
and
and
I'm not gonna
lasers.
lie, I'm pretty stoked about Godzilla and Kong.
Yeah, I mean
Looks
that's
fun.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can have dark and serious, and then you can also
Yeah.
have popcorn blockbuster
And
that doesn't make any sense.
I don't
But you
expect
want
it
to
to
see,
be anything other than popcorn blockbuster kaiju fight.
yeah.
But that's what I'm going for. That's
Well,
what
and
I
I
want
heard
to
the
see.
director. I think the director Adam Wingard. I think that's the director. He said there was like they have the longest sequences of just monsters fighting and interacting in this movie.
Nice.
So yeah, I
I
hope
mean,
if they make Godzilla talk.
it's about setting expectations. That's
Yeah.
what it's about.
Um.
If they advertise it as a kaiju fight blockbuster film, then that's what I'm going in expecting, and I'm probably
Right.
gonna have a good time.
Yeah. Godzilla and Kong team up to fight a big monkey, another big mean monkey, and then there's also another one that does ice powers instead of fire powers.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But if Shin Godzilla was advertised as a kaiju fight blockbuster movie and you went in thinking it was going to be that, you'd be traumatized.
Oh, well, you'd be traumatized anyways. Shin
Yeah.
Godzilla is the Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
It's the
That's
horrible.
that's
Yeah,
like the
I still
most
gotta watch it.
pure horror Godzilla has
Yeah,
ever done.
yeah. But my number one pick, and this is what is my favorite movie of the year. But I think,
Is
I
it
mean,
John Wick 4?
objectively, yeah,
Okay.
it's John Wick Chapter 4. And the fact that this hasn't been nominated for at least like cinematography or visual effects just blows my mind. The cinematography is amazing. Like I said, you get the whole Hotline Miami scene, so
Right,
many amazing
yeah.
shots. And it's just John Wick movies have always had this extremely like high fidelity, classy look to them.
Hmm.
Neon lights, rain. It's just they have a really cool vibe. And this one does that times 10. It's just and the action, I mean, it is legitimately one of the best action movies I've ever seen. Like it is just
Nice.
everything you would want from an action film
I
and
haven't seen
then
it
some.
yet, and I'm a huge fan of the John Wick series, and we were discussing possibly covering the John Wick series as commentaries, and
Yeah,
part of me is tempted to hold off on watching it
hold off. Hold
until
off.
we watch it together,
It
just so
would be
you
our
can
most self and
just so you can get
it,
my genuine reaction to
right.
it.
It would be
Yeah.
our most self-indulgent commentary series, but I want it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not that we've not done self-indulgent commentary. I mean, we covered all of the Spider-Man live action series. That was pretty
Not all of them are
self-indulgent.
good.
Yeah.
Not all of them are good. So we had to tread through some mud there.
We covered
Um,
Twilight. That was that not self-indulgent?
I guess ironically, yeah. But yeah, John Wick Chapter 4 just hits every mark for me from what you would want out of an action blockbuster. And I mean, yeah, Keanu Reeves, I mean, he hardly has any line. He has less lines in this movie, I think, than he did in the whole series. But
Yeah.
amazing. Well, no, he has lines, but just the way he plays his character, he's short spoken, man of few words, and but the rest of the supporting cast is great. Uh, Bill Scars, is it Bill Skarsgård? I get the Skarsgårds guards mixed up, but he's the villain. He was the guy that played it. He was the guy that played. He was
Um,
also in a bad movie, but I forget that one. Um, but yeah, I mean John Wick
Bill
4, it's the
Skarsgård,
one I've
yeah.
rewatched. It's the one I've rewatched the most.
Yeah.
Well, I guess tied for Across Spider-Verse. But it yeah, it just hits every mark for me. And yeah, putting it up against like a movie like Oppenheimer is just plain old, it's just plain weird. But if I'm just going off of my favorite movies, I mean, when I went to that in theaters, I expected it to be a fun. I knew John Wick. I expected it to be a good movie, a good action movie, but it was just like they thought the series was dead on the third chapter, that they've beaten a dead horse, but no, they
Yeah.
took it to new places, and it actually progresses the story, unlike chapter three. I still really like chapter three, but that one is just action for action's sake.
Chapter 3 was like chapter 2. Like I know chapter 2 and 3 kind of act as a part 1 and part 2 in a few ways, and it
Yeah.
feels a lot like they made chapter 2 and then about 75% way through the script we're like, we need to fit another movie right here.
Because it doesn't take the story anywhere else. It's just
So it
more
just
action
it just acts as a way
sequences.
to extend the story of chapter 2.
But I mean, damn, it's so good. But chapter four, I mean, it does get to the point in the movie. I mean, it's pretty much nonstop action. I would say the first act is a little bit lighter, but then when you get to the second act on, it's just action, man. But
Yeah.
it never gets stale. It never repeats itself. It never repeats the same. It treats its action sequences like a joke. It always works in threes, and then it gets to the punchline. Uh, in fact, there's a couple sequences in that film that are just funny. Uh, but yeah, when it goes to the Hotline Miami perspective, the top-down shooter, that was fucking wild, man.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. But yeah, John Wick Chapter 4 would be my favorite. Uh, also -1. Also, I mean, it's so hard to pick favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, it's apples and oranges. It's like it's whiskeys and rums. They're
Well,
just
let's
different.
let's we've talked about 2023. So to make this more than just a rehash, a more detailed rehash of the our recap, let's talk a little bit about 2024.
Yes, so I
I
have
think we want to
here.
start by movies that we're excited for.
So from the Hollywood Reporter, I have the most anticipated releases of 2024. This is everything that's been confirmed, and some of these have already released. Uh, which, January movies are not typically good ones. That's kind of the dump bin
Yeah.
for movies. Um, but just off the top of my head, though, yeah, Godzilla and Kong, Deadpool 3, which is going to be the only MCU movie to release this year, and I think that's a great thing.
Uh,
Get back to quality. Ryan Reynolds just posted a picture of Deadpool, his crotch, and said that it's wrapped. They're done filming, and
nice.
but it's literally a picture of Deadpool's crotch. So he got us to look at his balls, of
Of
course.
course. Of course.
Uh, but it's wrapped, and he said he had an amazing time with Hugh Jackman and the rest of the cast, and uh, that I truly believe it's gonna be a good one. I've been saying it for a while. There's no way I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a bad one.
Yeah.
Uh, so aside from that, um, so just going through the
There's
list.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire comes out
Yeah, and
2024.
it's like it looks
Um,
like it's got so Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd,
yeah.
uh,
I mean, the Ghostbusters franchise has been hit or miss sometimes, but the highs
Ernie Hudson.
are very high. I really liked Ghostbusters Afterlife. I thought that was really good. So I am
Well,
at the
yeah, that one was good because, and I think this one's gonna do a similar thing where it's just like
yeah. I mean,
it's
it's a franchise. They don't have a track record of doing two good movies in a row.
no.
So I
Ghostbusters
don't
2 is still
it's
it's all
okay.
right.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on.
So I don't have like I don't want to get my hopes too high, but I thought Ghostbusters Afterlife was really good, so I can't help but be a little bit excited for this.
Of course I'm gonna be excited for it. And it
There's
looks like the original cast is gonna be playing a larger role here.
yeah, that'll be cool. There's Joker. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that because it's like French.
Oh, Joker the musical?
Yeah, I am intrigued. I'm not I'm not gonna go as far as say I'm
So
excited to
first
watch
they do
it.
a taxi driver style movie.
Yeah.
It's Taxi Driver, but Joker. Uh, Now they're gonna do Joker, but it's a musical of Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn. And from what
Yeah.
I heard, it has little to nothing to do with the comics. And that could
Yeah.
either be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, I can't say I'm like excited for it, but I'm intrigued. I'm definitely gonna be keeping an eye on it because the Joker was a decent movie. I respected that they were trying to do something different with the character.
It's an amazing first watch,
Yeah,
I would
amazing
say.
first
But
watch. Subsequent
then
watches, it doesn't hold up as well, but
no,
I
because you
still
lose the
I respect that they were trying to do something different with the character than and the idea of what I've heard about the sequel intrigues me because it seems like they're trying to still stick to that mentality of like, let's do something that's unique here.
right. And I respect
So
that.
I'll keep an eye
Same
on that
director,
one.
right?
I
Todd Phillips.
think so, yes. Yeah, Todd Phillips.
And he had done Hangover movies,
uh,
or at least the first one. Um,
what else
um,
here? Godzilla and
oh,
Kong,
I forget when it's
obviously.
gonna come out. Well, yeah, Godzilla. Oh, yeah, of course. Uh, Nosferatu.
Oh
Robert Eggers'
yeah.
The Nosferatu
Yeah.
with Willem Dafoe. I think Nicholas Holt's in it, and which is funny because he was already in the Dracula movie with Nick Cage, Renfield.
Right.
Which did that come out last year?
Yeah, it did.
Uh, that one
Yeah.
was fun. Uh, but yeah, a remake of the original Nosferatu, the silent film,
Yeah.
and from obviously
The
from what we've seen with the Lighthouse, I mean
the
that
trailer
was
looks
that
great. Um,
definitely had like a classic Universal Monsters movie vibe,
yeah.
good at black and white stuff.
Have you seen some of like the images of Willem Dafoe?
Is he Nosferatu?
No,
Is he
no,
the
no.
creature?
Enable screen sharing. Um, some images got released from the movie. Um, let's see.
There you go.
Of
Oh yeah.
Willem Dafoe here.
Oh, he's gonna
Just
be great. He's gonna be
just
absolutely crazy,
killing it.
just as normal. Yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah,
but it looks great. Looks good.
have you ever gotten around to the Northman?
No.
Definitely recommend that one as well. That we'd probably talk about in our 22 recap, but uh it's Robert Eggers' take on a Viking epic.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
I've heard it's good.
Another one, and I'm not saying I'm excited for this in any regard, but I have to mention it because it's just weird. Madam Web.
Yeah,
Sony,
I'm
what are we
intrigued.
doing here? What are you doing?
Um,
I've heard that Andrew Garfield was originally set to appear, but
uh-huh.
then Sony was like, no, let's go Tom Holland because he's more
Uh-huh.
popular, etc. And then they were like, he's too expensive, uh, or something along the lines, and they just annexed anything that connects to Spider-Man whatsoever. It's another Spider-Man
Hmm.
Sony Universe movie, Spum, uh, movie.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a
and
Sony
it's Madam Web
Spider-Verse. Yeah.
played. She's from uh,
It's like a Madam Web origin story. Okay, right? I can get behind that. With
Sydney Sweeney,
is it
Dakota Johnson.
is it two or three different versions of Spider-Woman?
You have a few Spider Women. All the
In
costumes look like it could be a Party City costume, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, they look
Uh,
fine. They look fine, but
it's all right. I don't know.
still um and
Latex,
um
CG.
a young Ben Parker,
Yeah, that's Adam Scott,
Adam
which
Scott.
I like that.
So
I like that.
it's a movie that's a so if it was just Madam Web origin story, young Ben Parker, I can get behind that. Ezekiel Sims, he's younger in this than he is in the comics. I can get behind that.
Yeah, and
But
he's
then
an obscure comic character
he is
anyways. They're
kind of a
really digging
yeah.
in the
But
trash
then
heap. And their
then
Spider-Verse line in the
multiple
comics was
versions of
bad.
Spider Women in it
Yeah.
that takes place
And
before Spider-Man exists.
she has
Like
the knowing powers, the Nick Cage knowing powers, where she
right.
knows what's gonna happen in the future or whatever, and she's getting killed by a Spider-Man-esque character,
Yeah.
but it's not Spider-Man, and it's Ezekiel Sims.
I don't know.
And
I think the way they're
I'm
handling the way they look like they're handling Ezekiel Sims and Spider Woman plural in
Madam Web's
that.
supposed to be an old lady in a like
Well,
multiversal kind of Doctor
again,
Strange
I
kind of
guess if they're doing
character
like young,
sitting in a
like a
chair.
young, like origin story version, I get it. But like they're doing Ezekiel
But
Sims
no one
and
cares.
and
These
several Spider
No one
Women
knows these
and
characters. Barely anyone know about Morbius. The only reason
and
people care about Morbius was because of the memes, because Jared Leto.
it's just like they're leaning. The thing that confuses me is not that I think the movie looks completely terrible. It's that they're leaning so hard into these Spider-Man like characters, but placing it as a prequel to any Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's just
Well, in
an
Morbius, Michael
odd
Keaton
choice.
appeared.
Of course.
Uh,
Yeah.
phoned in his lines. Uh, yeah,
Odd
it
choice.
looks
It just
pretty
seems like an odd. It
bad.
doesn't look terrible though. It doesn't look maybe I'll give it the benefit of the doubt
I
for
won't.
now.
I'm not gonna see it in theaters, definitely.
Oh, I'm not gonna
Um,
pay to watch it. No.
I
But
would be shocked if this ends up being good. But who knows? Anything could be good if it's
yeah.
got good writers. But
Um
um,
moving on, movie I'm excited for.
they
Furios.
they tried to do a character El Muerto,
Uh
a character that just released in 20 like a few years ago in Spider-Man comics and has
yeah.
only appeared in like two comics. Sony and now they're doing the Craven movie. But what I despise is they take all these Spider-Man villains or adjacent characters and they're like, oh, and have you seen in the trailer where she's like, my mom died when she was researching spiders in the jungle. Terrible.
Yeah.
So bad.
They're taking a bunch of Spider-Man characters who
But not
and
Spider-Man.
pulling them out of the context of being Spider-Man villains. And
It-
it's not that none of these characters can work in that, but not all of them can. Like
No, and even Venom's still kind of it's still pretty tricky to do without having a connection to Spider-Man.
I think they did the
I
best
mean,
they could do with Venom without Spider-Man
right.
involved.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I think
But,
Venom was a okay movie, but
you think he'll finally get the logo in the third one? He has to.
he has I hope so somehow. I don't know. But anyway,
Hey, I saw Spider-Man. I'm gonna have a spider logo now.
yeah.
That's probably a line in the movie.
I hope it
Uh,
literally is that. I saw a Spider-Man, so now I'm gonna have a Spider-Man logo.
yeah, here's the
Um,
quote. He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
jeez.
Now,
Yeah.
that could have been cut together from the movie. It might not actually be a quote in the movie.
Yeah.
Could- But yeah,
I
jeez.
mean, take the Craven the
Uh,
Hunter, Craven the Hunter. Like he's a character that he could work by himself, but I think what makes Craven interesting is the fact that he is hunting a character like Spider-Man because they're a superhero, because he's a big game hunter, so he
yeah.
finds what's the big game. So making a movie where Craven's the main character feels weird to me.
And an animal loving protagonist.
Yeah, because it's
He's probably
like
gonna be a vegan.
Yeah, like I mean, Craven's a character that theoretically you could plug him into a bunch of different superhero stories and he could still be a good character.
But he has to have a superhero
But he
there
has to
though.
have a superhero to be hunting.
And
So
he's just gonna fight another guy that's good at hunting. Just like Morbius fought another Dracula.
yeah,
Just like
yeah.
Venom fought another Venom.
Like
Because that's what we want in our movies. We don't, you know.
yeah.
Anyways, another one I'm
Anyway,
pretty hyped to.
yeah.
Uh, one that I'm actually hyped for, Dune. Dune Part 2.
Yeah, yeah. I never saw the first one.
I saw it once. Uh,
I heard it was
and
good.
it's good, but it's also it was also kind of boring, but I think it's gonna pick up more in Part 2. Um, we're getting a Roadhouse remake
Oh yeah, yeah. I have heard about that.
uh with Jake Gyllenhaal or
We
Gyllenhaal,
are
however you pronounce
getting I am weary about this, extremely weary, but in theory it sounds cool. We're getting Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim.
it. Is it an anime?
It
Animated?
it's an animated.
That's the only reason I have interest in it, to be
I'm
honest.
I'm weary because of Rings of
Is it
Power,
Rings of Power? Yeah.
but it sounds cool. It's just like how we're
No, but
getting
if they
I
if
don't know if it's coming out this year, but we're getting an
you know like Star Wars
animated.
Visions,
Yeah.
if they did like a creative like original story in Lord of the Rings animated, I could get behind that. As long as it's not uh,
Well,
stepping on
it's
anything
being
Tolkien made.
directed by an anime director. He did Ghost in the Shell, or not the original Ghost in the Shell. Um, Eden of the
Do the
East,
anime,
Snapping
the manga, the
Princess.
anime?
Yeah. Um,
Or he did do the anime.
yeah, the anime.
Cool.
So it's being directed by a guy, Kenji Kamiyama. So I don't know. It sounds cool. I don't know much about it. It's kind of like how also we're getting, I don't know if it comes out this year um or next year, a Witcher animated movie with the original voice actor who plays Geralt in the video games.
Oh, that's gonna be great. Well, hopefully.
Hopefully, because
Right.
it's a very
But it
mixed
sounds
track
promising.
record on the Witcher right now. But it sounds cool. Um,
Uh, we're also gonna get an animated Transformers movie finally again.
oh, sick. Nice.
Um, I think I forgot who I think they had Channing Tatum as a young Optimus Prime or something like that
Huh.
before
Gladiator
he becomes a
2
Prime.
is set to come out this year.
Yep,
I
another Ridley Scott.
don't know how I feel about that one.
Who knows? It could go either way.
Maybe it
I
could be
hope Russell
good.
Crowe comes back
Gladiator is great, but it's not a movie that I think needs a sequel. Um,
after 20 years.
yeah. The one I'm excited for is Furiosa.
Oh yeah, that's the Mad Max spinoff about
Uh-huh.
uh
About Furiosa, the
Furiosa about
what's her name? Oh jeez. She's cool. I
I
don't
know who she is. She's really cool.
why am I forgetting her name? Because she's super cool.
Yeah, it's at the
Um
tip of my tongue.
I'm gonna
You're gonna check. I know Anna Taylor-Joy is gonna be the young version.
yeah.
I remember her name.
Um
In the Misery. Just look it up. Charlize Theron.
yeah,
God,
yeah. I'm like
I didn't
she's
have to look it up. By the way, I
I'm like
remember.
she's badass. Why am I forgetting this? No, but it looks
She's a
cool.
great
It's
actress.
Anya Taylor-Joy, Chris Hemsworth, um, and
Yeah.
directed by George Miller. So, and I'm a big fan of the Mad Max franchise, so it looks pretty cool.
Well, it's hit or miss, but the Fury Road was amazing. So
I think they're all great. What are you talking about, hit or miss? I know the original is a pretty slow movie, but
Into the Thunderdome was definitely something. Another one, Kingdom of the Planet Apes.
oh yeah, yeah.
So it's jumping off the trilogy that just finished off with Battle of the Planet Apes, a War for the Planet Apes, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And now it's gonna lead up to presumably the original Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Like, I bet you anything, by the time this trilogy's done, we're gonna get to the original Planet of the Apes time
It'd be
in
kind
the
of cool
timeline
if they
again.
did a remake of the original Planet of the Apes in this modern Planet of the Apes universe because the
Well, I think this
idea,
is leading up to that.
yeah, the idea of doing a whole series of movies just setting up a remake is kind of fun.
Right.
Like,
And they're good.
yeah, they are. Yeah.
Um,
Let's
yeah,
see
I'm
here.
definitely excited for that one.
Uh,
We have
Beetlejuice 2 is coming out
I
this
have
year.
no expectations for that. Um,
Apparently Tim Burton is directing it, which is shocking because my understanding has always been Tim Burton didn't want to touch a Beetlejuice sequel with a 10-foot pole. But I guess
I didn't know he really did sequels.
he usually doesn't. And the story I always heard was that when Beetlejuice, the original one, came out, they wanted him to do a sequel, and because of his contract, he had to write a sequel. So he purposely wrote a really, really bad sequel, so it just wouldn't
What if
get
it's that?
greenlit. Um, but apparently he is attached to it as director, and I
Michael
don't
Keaton
know.
coming back?
I would hope so. I don't know. Uh, let's see here.
Winona Ryder better be back.
Willem Dafoe is listed in the cast. Michael Keaton, yes. Um, I
No
don't
Winona Ryder?
see her in this, but I don't know.
Damn, she's one of the best things about the new Stranger
Oh yeah, no,
Things.
yeah,
And
there she is. Yeah, she's there in
okay,
the
okay.
cast. This is just IMDb. I don't know how accurate this is right
We have
now.
another spin-off here, Ballerina, which is set in the John Wickiverse.
Oh, cool.
Um, and I don't know if it's a prequel or I think it's gonna be, well, it's a spin-off, but I think it's gonna be before John Wick 4 because I think Keanu is gonna appear in it, and I think it's gonna be before any of that stuff happens,
Hmm.
before his dog gets killed. I don't know, but looks pretty cool. Ana de Thomas is, I mean, yeah, Ana de Armas is gonna be in it. Ballet dancer assassin. And if it's, the same style, basically, this is going to be the test to see, will people see these kind of movies even without a huge name star in it?
Right. Even without
Um,
Keanu.
even without Keanu. I mean, if
Uh,
it's as good quality as any of the other ones and, it has an interesting story, then I'm all for. I mean, I'm all for it anyways, but it's just going to be interesting to see how it compares to the mainline John Wick movies.
you're
And
right.
there's also the John Wick show about the
Right, the Continental.
Continental Hotel. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds kind of cool. I mean, I'm totally down for them exploring the John Wick universe. My one hope,
Because it's an insane universe.
yeah, my
And I want
here's
to know more.
here's my one hope that they do with this is that they make no attempt to make it make any sense.
There's
Because
like a new type of coin they introduce or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, because the
Or
John Wick universe already makes no fucking sense when you think about it too much.
you have to buy into it.
You have to accept that this is a weird comic book universe with a lot of plot holes in it and just suspend your disbelief. And I hope
Well,
that
and you have the high table, which has a its own jurisdiction, separate from
Yeah.
world governments and
And I hope that this
the coin
show
system.
and this movie, I want to know more about the universe, but I also would be
But
annoyed.
continue to introduce
Yeah, I would be annoyed
stuff.
if they tried too hard to make stuff make sense.
Well, I would
You
also be
know?
annoyed if it just felt like a John Wick movie just with a different character. I want it
Right.
to have its own
Yeah.
flair to it, its
Yeah.
own
Do something
identity.
new, introduce more stuff, but
And don't
I
just do the thing where, oh, girl boss power thing. No, make it
yeah,
interesting,
but
okay?
just go forward with that mentality of this doesn't have to make sense. Like it's
Hmm.
okay. Our audiences are here for cool action, not for uh
Stylish action.
yes, cool stylish
Stylish.
action, not
Yeah.
not for um J.R.R. Tolkien level
And
lore.
gun fu. I still hope there's gun fu. But
Oh
in the
yeah.
John Wick universe, John Wick is the pistol guy.
Hmm.
Everyone else has their own thing. He's pistols.
Yeah. That's an important thing. Everyone's got to have their own thing.
And that's heavily in John Wick Chapter 4. Everybody has a thing.
Yeah.
It's really
Well, I've
cool.
not seen
Uh,
chapter 4 yet, but I
I
watched
know, but
the Corridor Crew does their stuntman react, and they talked about it a little bit,
oh,
and they
and yeah, the
talked
stunts are amazing, and Keanu did a lot
they
of
talked
stunts.
about Donnie Yen a little bit, and
Amazing, and he's
and
like a Daredevil type
his
character.
choreography in
Blind,
that,
yeah.
and they just made a point of like some of the choreography, the things they have him do, like the quick punches type of thing, um, is
Well, that comes from Donnie Yen
yeah, that's just a
because of
Donnie
Ip
Yen
Man.
thing. And they made a fun point where they're like, it's almost like some of these action stars just in the same way that like musicians have their signature style. These
Yeah,
action stars have their signature style, or like WWE wrestlers have their moves.
I would honestly,
Donnie Yen has his moves no matter what movie you're
I
watching.
hope, I hope Ballerina does well, well enough to warrant another spinoff because I would
I
love to
hope
see a
so.
spinoff about Donnie Yen's character
Yeah.
because he is, yeah, he's awesome, man.
Yeah, I
We're
would love
getting,
for them to explore that more.
Inside Out 2
Hmm.
and Pixar
Yeah.
sequels, not the best track record. But
Um,
Inside Out was a really good one.
well,
And they
but
made five Cars movies.
I'm trying to think of
Okay, Toy
movies.
Story has a good track.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
trying
Toy
to think
Story is
what
good.
movies other than, so they did Toy Story, they did Cars, they did Monsters Inc. had a sequel, which was okay.
And it was kind of a prequel, so
Yeah, I don't, what other sequels have they done? They usually don't even do sequels.
most of them are one-offs. The only ones that are like a
Yeah.
franchise would be Toy Stories, Cars,
Yeah. I don't know.
barely Monsters
Inside
Inc.
Out
because it
2
only has.
looks, I like the original a lot. The new one looks cool. I like it.
I heard like
There's
stuff like
there's an anxiety
anxiety. Yeah,
character. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hope there's like a disassociation guy,
Yeah.
existential character.
Existential dread. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the adult emotions. Um, we're getting another Bad Boys movie. We're getting A Quiet Place Day One. So I think this is the first one that's not directed by Krasinski. Uh, but it's gonna be another Quiet Place movie. And those are pretty good. Another one which I never heard of until I looked it up for this episode. But Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1.
Right.
It's Kevin Costner's multi-film Western saga, which has been in the works since 1988,
Oh, geez.
with Costner putting at least $20 million of his own money into the project.
Um, so what I've noticed is generally when they say, "Oh, this has been in the work for 30 or 40
It was like
years,"
maybe an idea or like
that means it probably wasn't a very good idea, and just someone was really passionate about it.
Kevin Costner was apparently.
Um,
And it's coming out this. Oh, just like how Starfield was in the works before Oblivion.
yeah.
There I go mentioning Starfield again. I'm
Uh.
sorry. Untitled Scarlett Johansson Channing Tatum rom-com. It'll probably be straight to streaming. Twisters. They're making a Twister sequel. More tornadoes. And then Deadpool 3. Yes, of course. Yeah, that's I would say out of everything I know about so far, that's my most anticipated movie of 2024.
Yeah,
I mean, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together, Deadpool and Wolverine,
yeah, that's
interacting with the
definitely
Fox
my
universe. It
yeah.
seems like it's gonna be, a real art, well, not just earnest. It's gonna be funny, but Deadpool, look at my balls, but it's gonna be what the MCU needs, pause on just overloading us with content. And it looks like it's rated R. It's still gonna be a Deadpool movie first.
Yeah.
I That's what I'm excited for. And yeah, just the chance to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine again in a rated R setting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm excited for that.
Give us Hulk versus Wolverine and make Hulk cool again, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want hipster Hulk anymore. I'm sorry. And then they're making a Borderlands movie
Okay.
based off the game. That could either be terrible or okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be good. It could be
I mean
good.
it's a definitely a universe that could make a good movie if handled right, but
Um,
video game movie adaptations just usually immediately turn on red flags in my head.
well, but we've had some good
They've
ones
been a little bit better recently,
lately.
but
In the
generally,
animated medium, at least.
yeah, I
Uh,
generally am pretty cautious.
Untitled alien movie with Don't Breathe director Fed Alvarez, which if you can make Alien scary again, if you can make an Alien movie that's just as good as Prey, I'm all for it. And I heard Prey's getting a sequel, and it might be like a World War II
Huh,
Predator movie.
that could be cool.
Either World War One or World War Two. I can't remember which. I think World War One would be even
There's
cooler with No Man's Land and everything.
yeah,
Like imagine the Predator running around in the bunkers.
right, that would be cool, yeah. There's Argyle, which is Matthew Vaughn's attempt to
That's coming out pretty
recapture.
soon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his attempt to recapture the Kingsman magic, and it honestly doesn't look good. And there's
Oh, they lost it in the last one for sure. The King's Man.
yeah, that one was pretty meh. So
They even
Argyle,
do like a MCU style post credit scene with Hitler. It's like, oh, it's
yeah.
Hitler.
So
Jeez,
Argyle
that's not good.
is so the concept of it is it's like someone who's like an author of spy books finds out that their spy universe that they
Oh,
wrote
and it's
about is
Bryce Dallas
real.
Howard, right?
Yeah. Yeah. However, so they're coming out with a book two to go along with the movie. Um, and
Huh.
first of all, it doesn't look good. And this is probably not true, but there's a theory going around online that that it's actually J.K. Rowling involved and that she just isn't attaching her name to it.
Um, well, for good reason.
Probably not true,
We're gonna be
but
wrapping up soon.
No, when was the last time she went on a walk?
She went on a walk at 4.
Why are you saying it in the microphone?
She went on a walk at 4. Our dog went on a walk at 4. She's a really cute long hair chihuahua. I think she's got a little something else in her.
nice.
Oh.
Fascinating. Her name's Coco, and yeah, she's a great little dog.
Good dog, Coco.
We're getting another Karate Kid movie. Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan made an announcement saying we're making another Karate Kid movie.
Oh, cool.
And I guess it's going to be tied into Cobra Kai, but it's still going to be like its own thing. In fact, I mean, really,
need
Cobra Kai is its own Karate Kid movie, just stretched out into a
I
series.
need to watch more Cobra Kai. I've watched the first season,
Season two
and
takes a dip,
yeah, I thought the first
but
season at least was really good.
it it gets back on track with season three and 4, and I forget how many seasons it has, but I've watched all of it.
Every time I visit my sister and stay at her place, she makes me binge watch a TV show that she likes.
Did she
And
make you binge watch Cobra Kai?
she made me binge watch Cobra Kai, and she made me binge watch Ted Lasso. Both were excellent. And
I still gotta watch Ted Lasso.
I have not finished either one of them because
But yeah,
I'm
William
lazy.
Zabka, he's Johnny, and he's back, and he likes Coors Banquet, and he does karate, and he's a mad dad. And
Nice.
it is good. I like it. And all the references, yeah, and it's extremely reference and nostalgia bait heavy, but it does such a good job of like capturing that 80s cheesiness, but
It
also being
kind of the 80s cheesiness adds like makes the nostalgia stuff work because it's like when they have like this really dramatic moment where they have a thing that's nostalgic, it kind of plays into that cheesy 80s thing.
well, and
Like
the first Karate Kid movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. You could put it in my top 100
it's a good movie, yeah.
if I ever made a top 100. It's like kind of takes the Rocky idea, but makes it a fun
We'll have to
teenage
do that
romp.
sometime. Do a top 100
Oh God, I could barely
movies.
form a top 10 for movies that came out last year. Top, no, just in a speculative top 100, it would be there. Like, that's all I'm saying.
It's hard to do top. Yeah, but I think there's a
We're
few
getting another
movies
Sonic movie.
there's a few movies I can consistently put in the top, but yeah.
Getting another Sonic movie. We're getting oh, Nosferatu doesn't come out till Christmas. Man, that's gonna be a fun movie to watch on Christmas.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's pretty much everything we discussed is pretty much as all that's confirmed so far.
Yeah.
Uh, man, not a lot of horror movies.
Not that I saw.
Oh, the Omen. They're making another Omen movie. And
Nice.
going by how the Exorcist movie played out, don't have high hopes. If
All
we
right.
now we could talk about the worst movies as well.
Yeah.
But let's
Let's
diverge a little bit. I think we should end this pretty soon.
yeah.
But let's talk about some of our most anticipated games.
Yeah, let's move away from video
2024.
or from movies real quick and go
Uh,
into video games.
Before we get into that, I've I just started playing uh Red Dead on the Switch, and I know you have as well.
I
Still an
downloaded it
amazing game.
last night, but I haven't because it goes on sale for 35
Right.
bucks, which is what it should have been priced
Yeah, that
in the
should
first
just be the
place.
well, that's why
Um,
that's why it's the sale price, because it's one of those schemes, like if you go on like a Wish or like a discount site, you'll buy something that says it was discounted like 50% off, but really that's what it should have been charged anyways.
uh-huh.
Uh, but but yeah, I've been playing that. I've been playing a Doom mod, Doom Delta, which intent or Delta Doom, but basically the whole point of the mod, and it's got its latest update just a few days ago. It intends on doing the pre-release version of Doom, like the original version before
Right.
release,
Yeah.
based off of the Doom Bible. And, because originally the plan was for Doom to have a big HUD, like your helmet HUD and everything, which was really groundbreaking.
Yeah.
and it was gonna have even more like weapons and more monsters and like RPG elements even. And basically, and software at the time was just like, yeah, we can't make this happen. But but some of that stuff did exist, like the HUD and everything,
Yeah.
and different weapons. And then they ended up stripping it down, and we got the Doom that we all know and love, which I'm not complaining about original Doom, but it is cool playing this like almost like alt universe version of Doom, like if the original version went through.
Right.
Been playing that. As for new games go, like I said, I mean, do you want to do a top list of games? I mean, that's kind of hard, right?
No,
We're bad enough at the movies.
let's just talk
But
real quick about
I need
some
to
of the stuff that's coming
I
out.
need to play Final Fantasy 16 again, get into that. But been playing Baldur's Gate, been playing Ready or Not, been playing I've kind of been playing old games a lot too, like I
Hmm.
said.
Yeah.
Um, but I think out of what I've been playing a lot recently, oh, I've got the Batman Arkham trilogy went on the Humble Bundle for like $8.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
And yeah, I
that's
have
a
those games on the PlayStation.
yeah.
But I do intend on getting the Steam Deck, and I've been taking every chance to get cool games on Steam with the intention of eventually playing them on the Steam Deck. So I've been
Yeah.
playing Arkham Asylum. And yeah, I put some texture mods in there to make it, you know, like a remastered version. But
Yeah.
great game. Was that also a 2010 game or oh no, I think it was
What game?
2009, but
Which
Arkham Asylum.
no. That was 2009?
Wow. That game has aged incredibly well. I mean,
Yeah.
wow. Anyways,
I've got a list here. It's from
you
Polygon.
haven't.
It's anticipated new games of 2024. Now, scrolling through these, not all of these are have set release
Some of them
dates.
are in early access already.
Yeah.
And Pal World. I have you seen anything about Pal World?
Yeah,
Pokemon with guns.
some people are mad about it, some people love it.
Well, yeah, some people are mad about it because they think AI was heavily involved in its creation.
Yeah, I
And
don't
also Pokemon and Nintendo are actively trying to sue. Uh,
yeah. But here we go. Some
but I heard it actually is a pretty damn good
this
like
is
arc
50
ripoff.
most anticipated new games of 2024.
That's so
Uh
funny. I had the same article.
ah, let's go
Um,
down. Another code recollection. I don't know what that is. Never
well,
heard of it.
without going through the list, I would say Dragon's Dogma 2 is like my most anticipated one so
Yeah,
far that I know
yeah.
of. Because it just looks like a fucking well-polished next-gen action RPG, and I'm all for it. I
And
never
on
played the
it,
first Dragon's Dogma, but what I heard what's so cool, it's not a sequel, it's not a prequel, it's like a rehash,
uh
a retelling of the original.
oh cool.
So for new
Yeah.
players, you can just get this and
The
enjoy it and
original
understand
is
it.
pretty great. It's what made it so good is basically, yeah, that it was just a really well polished action RPG. It had some unique systems. It has like a system where you have it's called pawns, where instead of like NPC companions, you have summonable
Yeah, there's a lot of
warriors that
summons. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's
that
combat
join
focused.
yeah, and they join you, but you can summon other characters, players to basically be your companions. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool. It's kind of a cool system. It's fun. Um,
I forget what it's called. Uh, I think it's The Last Ronin. It's gonna be like a PS5 exclusive, I think.
oh yeah.
Um, I think it's called that, but yeah, it looks like a really cool. another samurai open world game, but I heard it does
Um,
distinguish itself from like
yeah,
Ghost of Tsushima, but
Ghost of Tsushima. They need to release that on PC. I swear.
oh
Um,
right. I need to play that one again, honestly.
yeah, I want to
Just
play it.
an
I've never played it,
amazing
but
game.
Skull and Bones comes out this year. I'm not excited for it, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it because it's been
Oh, we're
kind of
getting Hades too.
yeah. Hades 2, no release date
Highly
yet.
recommend the first Hades.
Mario versus Donkey Kong comes out on February 16th.
Oh, they're doing that again. Is that a remake?
No, I think it's a new one.
But it's in like the same style, right?
Yeah, it's like a puzzle platformer game.
Yeah.
Brothers Tale of Two Sons remake comes out February 28th. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, um, which is like
John
the
Carpenter's doing a game?
I guess,
Like
huh?
as in
Huh.
classic horror director John Carpenter?
Alone in the
Horror
Dark.
movie phenomenon John Carpenter told Insider once all he really wants to do is play video games and watch basketball.
Huh.
Fair.
Fair enough.
So
Alone
it
in the
makes sense that he's expanding his Fear 3 voiceover work and launching his own FPS Bloodfest, John Carpenter's Toxic Commando.
huh.
Zombie horde splatter competent. Who knows if it'll be any good or not, but that's
Yeah, I'll
pretty freaking
keep an
crazy.
eye on it. Yeah. Alone in the Dark is getting a sort of remake with David Harbour playing the main character.
Oh, cool, cool.
Dragon's Dogma 2,
Never played the
obviously.
original.
Dragon's
Getting a
Dogma 2,
kill.
by the way, is March 22nd. It's like really soon.
We're getting. Yeah, I'm so hyped. I mean, yeah, it's fun to be excited for games that are like on the cusp of releasing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I excited for GTA 6? Yeah, but it's gonna be releasing probably October 2025 if I know anything about Rockstar.
Yeah.
Uh,
Princess
that
Peach
it's generally
Showtime
later in the year.
comes out March 22nd. It is the first Nintendo game in 20 years to feature Princess Peach as the main protagonist.
Yeah, didn't they do some Game Boy Advance ones?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna skip through
That's
some of
cool.
these.
Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. So Switch port. We're getting
Ara History Untold is like a civilization type game that looks pretty decent.
Multiverses is getting its proper release.
Huh,
I thought it already. I guess it was in beta the whole time.
I don't know.
That game was fun for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I liked it a little bit, but I didn't play that much.
I no actually I put like 8 hours a day into that shit, but and then I just quit.
Uh,
It's
Arc 2 is supposed to come out sometime this year with the
okay.
Vin Diesel. They paid a lot of money to get Vin Diesel to do stuff for
They have
them.
a Fast and Furious game. I'm Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
I have a
Avowed
terrible Fast and Furious game.
is supposed to come out this year.
Oh, isn't
That's
that the kind of like Elder Scrolls killer I've been hearing about from
yeah,
Obsidian?
it's Obsidian's like it's supposed to be basically their take on an Elder Scrolls style game. Um, I haven't been
I mean, that's
following
gonna
it
be
too closely, but
closest thing we get to Elder Scrolls 6 for a while. Uh,
yeah,
so I'm all for it. And isn't it gonna be PC Xbox exclusive?
I think so, yes.
I'll have to get it on PC then.
Let's see. Contra Operation Galuga.
Oh, that'll be a fun one to get on the Switch.
It'll be the first main
Also,
game added to the Konami's Contra set since
Switch 2.
2019. Yeah.
The Switch 2 is speculated to come out this year.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with that.
I've heard rumors that they're going back to an LCD screen so they can just release the Switch 2 OLED later down the line.
Of course. Of course.
I've heard rumors that it's going to be an 8-inch screen. which
Okay.
isn't that about the size of the Steam Deck?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But there's also been rumors that they're gonna do like a 4K screen. Nintendo was like, no, there's no way we're gonna do
Well,
that. We're not gonna do
Nintendo
that.
prides themselves a lot too on being the affordable console.
Yeah.
If Nintendo released a $500 console, I
Well,
think,
I've heard rumors it's gonna be like 400.
yeah, I mean, I could see that a bit, with inflation and all that sort of stuff. I could see them charging
And I
400.
think
But if
is
if
it gonna
Nintendo released a console that was priced at like $500, I think that wouldn't go well for them. And I think they know
and
that.
oh yeah. Well, I think they could though.
I don't think they could.
I if it was only if it was like a Steam Deck competitor, which it won't be. It's gonna be its
No, well,
own
well, my
thing.
my reasoning is because Nintendo's main audience is not gamers. It's
Families,
families.
it's kids, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
They Nintendo has probably feels like they need to release something that parents can just feel like they can justify buying for their kids.
And there's no they would go further than 400 unless they did
Yeah.
like a pro model or something.
Right, right. Maybe they do a pro model that's more, but like they would have to have an
I've
affordable
heard rumors
console.
that it will be able to run PS4 and Xbox One
Like
title
level.
or type level titles.
That would be
Uh,
cool. It would compete with the Steam Deck if if it could do that.
yeah, to a degree. I mean, the Steam Deck can theoretically play brand new games, just at
Well,
low
some
to mid
brand new games.
settings.
Yeah, Steam Deck is maybe PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
That's about where the Steam Deck sits
and
performance wise.
I do see. I'm a little bit conflicted because I do want the Steam Deck,
Hmm.
definitely. But I'm also kind of holding out for the next thing.
Right. My
Like
mm,
either the Steam Deck 2 or
or
the Switch 2. If
here
the
here
Switch 2 looks like an
here's my main thing that I want out of the Switch 2 is backwards compatibility.
oh yeah, if I could play my entire Switch library and
Yeah.
new games, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's what I want because I own a lot of games on the Switch. I have a 500 gigabyte SD card installed on there with a ton of games. And there's games that even like I could play on PC that I play on the Switch because it's convenient. I can keep them installed, to save room on my Steam Deck and all
Right.
that sort of stuff. And if the Switch 2 came out and didn't allow me to play my Switch library on it, I would be more reluctant to buy the Switch 2 until
But
there were
think
enough
about this.
games for it to
If the
justify.
Switch 2 can run PS4 level generation games, in theory, it could run Red Dead 2.
In theory, yes. Yes.
If it can do that and then some, and they
Yeah.
have great new original titles, which they always do. Uh, and I've also heard rumors that it's coming up for the Switch 2 because Nintendo kicked off the Switch with two landmark titles, with their most popular characters was Zelda and Mario.
Uh-huh.
And then they just released two mainline Zelda and Mario games last year.
Yeah.
So it seems like a proper send off
To the Switch, yeah.
for the
No, and it
Switch.
makes sense because the Switch is becoming outdated. It's a great console. I love it,
Oh,
but
it's
it is,
been outdated since its release.
yeah. Um, but
Really.
um, but yeah, no, if the Switch 2 didn't have some sort of backwards compatibility for previous Switch titles, then it'd be this thing where I'm like, I would not buy it until I felt like there were enough
Also,
games on
I
it.
feel like at this point in the space, I feel like it kind of has to they have to stick with OLED. You can't
Yeah.
go backwards unless their justification is the LCD version will be the cheaper version.
Right,
Like,
right.
but you could spend an extra 100 or extra 50 for the OLED version. Then I would totally understand that.
Right.
Um, but when the Steam Deck is phasing out its original version and going to the OLED only, and whether Nintendo would admit it or not, or even say it or realize it or think about it, it is going to compete with the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So it has to justify being the budget, family friendly,
I'm
user
also
friendly
I
version of
am
the Steam Deck, even though the Steam Deck is incredibly user friendly.
I
But,
am also
you know,
concerned about scalpers with the Switch too.
oh yeah, it's gonna go the same way as the PS5 where it's impossible to buy it and launch.
And
I mean,
that's hopefully
and Nintendo's pretty bad about making enough supply for the demand initially.
I hope
Then they catch
it's
up to
better
it.
because like the PS5 is the type of thing where like the PS5 launched in what year did the
2020.
PS 2020? It wasn't until maybe last year that you could regularly go to a store and just buy a PS5.
Pretty much. It was still pretty tough
It's
to
it took a
acquire
couple
in 2021.
it took a
Uh,
couple years for it to get to the point where you could reliably just go buy one. So I mean,
right. Yeah.
yeah, like
So is there
that's
even a point in getting it? And that's something that Valve has done a great job at.
Valve's
They
been
have
fan.
enough supply for the demand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've sold out. Like when the Steam Deck initially released, it was somewhat an issue.
Yeah.
Unless you already
But
pre-ordered it. But like
another
with the
one
Steam
of
Deck OLED model and everything,
yeah. Well, one of the things that
I've never had a
Valve's basically their approach to it was you order straight from Valve.
yeah,
You go onto
direct to
Steam, you
consumer.
order it, and what they were doing was for a long time,
You
and
can't get it in store. You can't
now you can
go
just
get a
go
Steam Deck at
yeah.
a brick and mortar.
Well, now you can just go buy it. But the first like year that the Steam Deck was out, what they were basically did was you just put yourself on a wait list. You pay for
Yeah.
it, put yourself on a wait list. As soon as they have one they've produced that they can send to you, they send it to you.
But now
Which
the only edition that I've seen that's been out of stock is the translucent special edition one.
yeah, but that makes
Uh,
sense because it's special edition, I guess, you know.
yeah.
Um, but no, hopefully the Switch 2 doesn't go the way. Anyway, I think this episode
When do you
is
think this
going kind of long.
Switch 2
Yeah,
would actually release? Mid 2024 or late for Christmas?
late for Christmas. It's
Probably.
Nintendo. Nintendo's gonna think first and foremost about like families buying for their kids and the general consumer because ultimately, so what I've kind of, if you look into it generally, um, like you and me who are like more active in like gaming news and things like that, think about all these different consoles. But when it comes to pure sales numbers, Nintendo is usually
Oh, they
on
kill
top.
it. I mean, people are
Like,
like, let's buy a Nintendo. I mean, it's a household name and it has been
like,
for 40 years
like
and it will never stop.
the seventh generation of consoles, the 360, etc. People argue about who won the console wars, the 360 or the PS3. No, it was the Wii.
Financially, yeah.
But yeah, if you're
Definitely.
just talking about like what
Sales,
company won, it was the Wii
yeah.
by a stupid amount. The Switch also, like, why hasn't Nintendo discontinued the Switch yet and moved on yet? Because the Switch is still selling.
Yeah, people still like it. I still like it. I
Because
still play it every
because
day.
Nintendo is a casual family gamer company.
But the Switch is in a special place where it's also a gamer thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my
And
favorite consoles ever. But
uh let me we can end this soon, but I'm gonna show you something.
yeah,
This is for Colton. We can go ahead and end this. Anyways,
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna end this. Thanks
Okay.
for listening. I bet this one went on for like 3 hours. I wasn't keeping track of it. Unless Colton edits it
Yeah,
down.
2.5. I don't know.
Um,
First
but
episode, it's
anyways,
okay.
yeah, first episode of the year. Go follow us at Odd Drink Pod on Instagram. Give us a rating review on your platform of choice. And we will see you next week. And hopefully not ramble as long. Or maybe not. Can't make any promises.
This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. The Odd Drunk Podcast recommends you follow their Instagram and join their Facebook group for more fun content. To visit all of our current streaming and social media platforms, visit the link tree in the description. If you enjoy the show, we would be appreciated it if you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts. The Odd Drunk Podcast would like to remind you to drink responsibly and not to drink and drive.